damned if I was smoke floating and you just an eight. I'm the emperor from Dune. I tell you dudes to kiss the ring. I'm flowing like I got the scope. I know that I won't miss a thing. I'm throwing niggas off the rope. I make opponents hit the ring. When you leave, I light some sage. When you breathe, I hold
Let me take a
my
sip
face.
of my cup. Beinglazy.com. Get all your merch.
Go get you something.
I done spoke today. I had to say it with my chest.
When something bad happens to you, you've got 17 to 19 seconds to get out of that mindset. If you do not, you will be sort of resonating at a certain frequency, and it will attract the same resonance throughout the day.
You fine now, Marcus. You fine.
Choose to fill my big toe with bust. This seems to something shacks I speak. Switch they thirst with the lasers on me. I'm like, God, I'm not a part of this.
If you could ask Trump one thing, what would it be?
Why do you not care about skin tint? Like, how is that not a priority along with everything else?
AI replacing jobs.
I think 5-10 years, yeah, we're definitely could. Yeah.
Bro, if we get rid of Michael, bro, something like it's not right. It's not right.
Y'all know. My man. Not my man.
From me, blessings, I break it down and pay it for reverence. Selling hope so dope, I free it from the basic medicine. Beat the game with chains and whips. I give up everything you said. But it came and went. I chew the beat.
2, 3. Sorry, y'all. I pressed start. We dysfunctional today. I don't know what Rashad's doing.
Dysfunctional.
You don't know what I'm doing. But we back. ODD,
Right.
POD.
We're still gonna give y'all what we give y'all.
Take it. Oh, my bad. That was bad. I don't know why I said that. It was impulsive. Right. It was very impulsive. I need to detox some of my flesh on that
Social media detox. They swear that cures everything though. They be like, nigga broke, nigga. Gotta take you in the detox from social media. You get some money.
Sure
Like
will.
that's how they say it. Like it'll
There
solve
is-
everything.
There is an actual study that says your brain actually does not compute at the same level when the phone is in your hand. As soon as the
Makes
phone
sense.
touches your hand, the brain is like,
That's why we're giving AI our smarts. We're giving the computer our
Correct.
smarts.
correct. For every push, there is a pull. Just gotta figure out what it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back, though.
I know I'm playing. Y'all got a new setup. I'll have it together. You'll see my
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah, we in between some things. You
So-
feel me? The irony in
Big
today's
guy.
conversation, it is a Sunday, so we'll be talking football, and somehow some crossover of spirituality intermixed in. Original football. And the root irony is the Green Bay Packers have on them leather helmets. They have like this pattern
Yep.
on there, old leathers.
Yep. MarcJay gonna have to lead us more on that because I ain't get a chance to really look into it like I wanted.
Nah, it's perfect. I think the audience will like that, like a raw reaction.
Right.
So
Actually, speaking of that, Mike,
yes, sir.
I was asking all them yesterday. I was like, who gonna be on the pod next? And Shelton and Mike was like, shit, we'll get on there. And then Mike was just talking about us, like, because he was like, Rodney, man, you need to be on there more. He's like, you got a natural podcast voice. And he was like, and Marcus, he was like, he's just real good at, like, I was like, I know. I was like, we balance each other out, just like we did with music. Like, it's just a balance. And he was like, so then he broke it down from where I guess maybe, Mike's a little older than us. So let's say from his age range, how they look at it. He's like, I'm watching and then Marcus is perfectly mediating it. Then Marcus will say something. And then everyone's looking at you like, what's your reaction? Like, so like what you just said, like the raw reaction, like it's starting to be a thing where like, so you perfectly like break the situation down and they like, he's like, everybody gets quiet to see like what Rashad got to say back. I'm like, that's crazy.
That is kind of true though.
personality.
That is kind of true though. And I feel like especially like you're good at that in music. Like I feel like you would you're the perfect person for that in music. Like anyone can bring you something in music and you would have like a pretty like enlightened perspective on a wide range of music though. I feel like you can talk about music with the older age group. you know what I'm saying, older age groups and things like that, having older siblings and shit like that.
I was like, it sounds about right.
Darren Bates on here clowning. He's ugly. I mess with his podcast. Shout out The Raw Room down in Nashville. Darren Bates, he's that's his podcast. They keep it real. I like him a lot. They got some really good segments like about eating, like fat boy shit. Like from an offensive lineman's perspective, I think you would like that. They bring in like the sloppiest like foods or like craziest combinations and shit like that, and he's like tells them like yes or no, basically. Like yeah, I'm gonna tear that up, but like nah, it's just trash. And that's funny. That's perfect. Like offensive lineman giving food reviews, big dudes giving food reviews is perfect.
Bro, we be on the same page, bro. Like some of the stuff y'all see is real as far as like it's happening right now. So speaking of that, you remember I told you my friend LaTroy from work, he loves to eat, just keeping it real. And like he be giving reviews, but like to us, like that's just how he talk. Like let's say we went and tried
He's gonna have to jump on. Nah, he's gonna have to jump on.
So you
now.
already know that's I was telling him, I was like, I need you to get on there and do some reviews like that. I was like, also I'll bring you over my crib to just talk to the camera to do some breaks, like just talking. You know how people they'll put somebody in the studio, let them talk, and then they'll like use it. They might just 5 seconds here, but just to put it, I was like, just for our stuff, bro.
Yeah, we
the
need
stuff
some
he be
cutscenes.
saying is funny. Like it's just him talking. So I was like, bro, we need you on reviews. And I was like, then I'll just let you freestyle on a camera.
That's gonna be good.
Just talk. Like,
but just talk your shit though. Like
right.
You feel me? Just talk your shit. Like whatever. And like people go, that's perfect. That's almost like creating like a radio with like commercials type shit.
Right.
Like having like this like the full rounded.
I'm glad you see the vision. Dope. Right. That's dope. What I'm talking about.
I would love to have like a Louisville radio between like some DJ sets. We got some good local DJs having DJ sets, and then the talk shows. That's easy.
Yep.
I think
can make it happen.
I think that's easy. We just gotta figure out. We would need sponsors. That's what we would have to get in our bag on the sponsorship. But I don't think that's out of reach with kind of like where we at right now and trying to get the podcast going and where we see ourselves and things we're working on and things like that. So pretty dope. Let me go grab this little notepad real quick.
By the way, y'all, I'm watching the Steelers Colts game on the side while we're podding. You know what's up with it. We're actually winning right now. You know, me and Marcus, we heavy on stale city. That's what we call it. But they still be doing their thing sometimes. It's just I'm tired of being middle of the road. Just happy to make the playoffs. I'm ready for more. So I don't know. It's tough because let's say we get a new coach and he ain't as good. Then we taking a step back. And it's like, well, this is what y'all asked for.
Just speaking of that, 57 consecutive games, which is a special number to my man Rashid, if anyone knows, without scoring more than 7 points in the first quarter. I don't think we broke that today. I think we scored 10 points in the second quarter. I could be wrong. I thought you were going to break it.
Is this the 57th game or the 58th game?
It would be the 58th. Because they threw the stat out before the first quarter was over.
Shout out to Matt Thomas. That was 58 on.
That was 58? What was CJ?
I don't know if you know Matt Thomas. CJ
I don't.
I got to look at a picture. I ain't going to lie to you. I'll find it.
My bad, silly man.
Right. CJ, the type of silly that'll piss you off if he talking about you. Anybody else, you going to be laughing. He get on you, you ready to fight.
He seemed like it. You seem like it, CJ. All right. Was there anything else I was going to start out with? Yeah, maybe before we actually get into our discussion. Had this lady preach today at church. Sorry, she's a doctor. I mean to just call you like a lady. But pretty dope because she is somebody that me and you need to follow. I sat like 3 people down from her. You know, with the kids, you be running around and shit. Tried to hurry up and get to her. I got into a conversation with another dude, so I didn't get to run up and talk to her. I'm still going to find her though. But she broke down historically the Bible and how to understand it. And there's some shit that me and you would really be interested into and maybe our audience, because a lot of times you just kind of given the Bible and a story and it's kind of like, this is what you're supposed to take from it. But what's like the context of the overall history? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, why did it matter? Like, why did they do that? So she's pretty dope. So she was like, for you to understand 1 2 Corinthians, which is what we're going to talk about today, you're going to need to understand 1 Corinthians. You also have to understand Acts too, because these are all letters building up to this event. It's not just something that happened. So when you look at Paul and what he's talking about and this whole big ordeal being made, you wonder, why is it a big ordeal though? So it's just like, to understand Corinthians, it's like Paul, I love Paul because like Saul was a man, he was wild.
Right.
So he threw that P on that mug and pacified himself. Is that what the P stands for? Pacification?
He definitely toned it down a little bit. Not a lot.
Best part about this story is I'm going to wrap around how the Bible reminds me of 8 Mile. Like this story reminds me of 8 Mile. This is why it's so dope. Like how does Corinthians remind me of 8 Mile? And I know y'all going to agree with me too by the end of it, which is why I was like, my mind was racing today in church. I'm like, this is dope. She's dope. So how in the hell did we get there? I don't want to bore y'all too much. But, Corinthians, it's in city of Corinth. They were wilding. Paul was like, I'm going to plant a church right there. You feel me? This is like 50 in the 50s, 50 AD. So he's doing what he's supposed to do. Jesus tell him to go, be apostles and do this and blah, blah, blah. He's doing it. You feel me? If you want to know, he's in like a world between like the Gentiles and the Jews. They not really on the same page when all this is going, coming to. Corinth is, like I said, he plants a church and they wild, and so he's trying to teach the people, and it's just like if you're doing the same thing in like just a wild and nice place, try to plant a city in, I don't know, a Vegas kind of place. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like, the people is like, we want to do good and shit like that, but we still got to get this shit out of our system. Like, we don't know how to be how you want to be. So even once we commit, we going to make some mistakes. So it wasn't until Paul left that it started rolling downhill a little bit, because Paul's like, my mission is bigger than that. I'm going to, I forgot where he's going, Macedonia, and the Jews is going through famine right now, so he's going to collect money for them. So he's like, I'm doing a whole bunch of sorry, I'm cussing about Paul, but it's real. You know what it is. So he's writing these letters back because he's hearing stuff. He's getting letters too, and he writes a whole bunch of letters. 2 Corinthians, it sounds like it's the second letter, but it's like the 7th letter if you really go by the context clues. So there's like missing letters in there. So you have to figure out what's going on really in between them. So they write him basically saying that, they divided in sin and pastoral likeness, and they competitive with the faith. And that's funny to me because we can understand that today. Like, nah, my church is better than yours. And then they not even believing in resurrection. They talking down on resurrection and stuff while he's gone. So he's like, oh, y'all tripping. I leave and y'all start tripping. So he gets mad. I don't know if he goes there. I think he does. They don't really talk about it though. But then in the letter, he sends them back. He's talking about punishment by the majority and grief and us grieving and we're grieving. I don't know what happened when my mans went back and they had a discussion face to face. But it sounded like some stuff went down, He cancels the visit. He's out fundraising. And while he's doing that, some fake apostles come, some super apostles. I don't know why. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, Hillary Clinton, motherfucker.
Right.
I know you was thinking it. Super predators, like super apostles. But he was clowning because it was tongue in cheek. Like he was clowning them, like, because if you're an apostle, you're an apostle. You can't be a super apostle. Like, what are you selling to people, bro? Like, I leave and some dudes come into my city, not my city, but we're playing at our church roots and really got Christianity going, and some super apostles come in talking about, man, Paul ain't even like that. We really the blood, we really lineage, we really that. So Paul, let me make sure I don't skip nothing. So between whatever happened when he went back and then he leaves again, he cancels visits, and he's still not there, right? Corinthians 2 is about, the whole thing's about reconciliation and what reconciliation looks like. So that's why we're talking about, like, why is that used as a point? We always point to 2 Corinthians as we take away that specifically from that. But why do we take that away from that? And that's the historical kind of like backstory of what was going on with Paul and the apostles, and there was famine with the Jews, like I said, and what he was really doing was he was getting money from the Gentiles, giving it to the Jews, showing the Jews that look who's really looking out for you, bro. And we all Christians under one. So he's really piercing the veil for the Gentiles and the Jews to come together while he's getting the Gentiles to jump on Christianity too. So a lot going on. So like I said, and Paul, and we know Paul's a G. He's bout it. He got to the point where he said in one of his, what did he say? He basically said, he didn't want to go on anymore. That's how it made him feel. Like if you made Paul feel like that, one of the strongest, you know what I mean, just straight up warriors, feel me, just on both sides kind of deal. It's just like that was really like, I don't know, brokenness is what I'll say. So that's why reconciliation, that's why it means so much in this specific sense. And in the Old Testament, you know, they're known as covenants, like God's reconciliation with man. So in the New Testament, you know, probably see more of like examples of his apostles, but it was just talking about like when it came back to it, and this whole Odysseus kind of story of leaving and coming home, and now he has these fake apostles running up. What does he say to his fake apostles when his city's like, hey, they trying to say that they the real ones and this and that, you know what I'm saying? And he's kind of like, bro, I'm trying to tell y'all it's about God. Like, yo, you feel me?
Right.
And so he runs up on him and he's like, and I don't know what this is in, but he was basically saying like, when I was so broken, like that's when I found God. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm telling y'all. Like, they part of Abraham, they part of David, they part of this, so am I. So are people. I'm telling y'all. You know what God's about? This is, you know, in front of everybody, whatever. He said, I've been lashed 139 times. I've been broken. I've been the bottom of the fucking barrel. Like, and look at me. Don't look at them. You feel me? If you want to look at an example of what God really do for you and how God will mend you back together and reconciliation, I've been on the other side. I've been one of them. And now I'm over here and I've been broken and I'm my body and this and that and spiritually. And I've been drawn to the end. And look, I'm stronger than ever type shit. That's what it was on some B-Rabbit, like, yeah, I'm this, yeah, I'm that, yeah, you can call me that, but I'm real, nigga. That's why they love me, nigga, and that's why you can't beat me, because the things that I went through made me, nigga. You feel me? And like, that's the whole story of like 8 Mile. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm lesser than you, yeah, I'm poor, yeah, I'm this, but through the flames, I've wielded this fucking sword that you cannot fucking fuck with when it's in my hand, and that's the reason why I am who I am, nigga. That's when everybody steps back and like, that's realer than real, nigga. It's realer than black and white. That's realer than, nigga, that's hip hop. Nigga, that's the source, nigga. Turning this, you know, shit into something we can champion type shit.
Yep.
And it's like, that's what God did for us too, you know what I'm saying? It's like, became the
It's a hell of
shit.
a connection.
I just thought of that.
And
I know our
generation
would think of that. Yeah.
I follow it too. Like, yeah, like that's what makes me is like almost Kanye's song, Everything I'm Not made me everything I am. Like almost on that type stuff. Like,
damn, here we go again. That's the crazy part about it too, is that reconciliation is this process over and over again. If you stained by it and you never get over it, you're going to take those same things with you wherever you go in the process of reconciliation. It's hard. That's what it's talking about, like, because they did it a few times. Like, it's just bubbled up into this. We're apostles in reconciliation, right? So nurses, you mend bodies back together. You know, teachers, you mend the minds. Farmers, you fuel and reconcile the earth and what we do to it. You know, therapists, you mend minds back together, and like, you know, social workers mend families back together. Artists give people the truth. You mend that back together. So I think that's really about it. That's pretty dope though. Eminem and 8 Mile.
That's a great connection. Not my. We gotta clip that.
Yeah,
we gotta
somehow
clip that.
We'll shorten it.
Mm-hmm.
Shorten it. That was good.
Let's get the main part.
I just have a feeling that I heard one comment about 2 niggas from a neo-Christian, liberal Christian view of how the white man is the savior once again. I'll just be like, you know what?
You missed the whole point.
It's because Eminem's white that the whole example falls apart? That's crazy.
You missed the whole point. Like, seriously, if that's the first thing you think, like, you're not understanding what's even going on. Like, of course, the white man. So,
Jack Harlow.
You know what's funny, though? The next video, I might put it out today. It was going to be me, you, and Damos talk about Eminem.
Yes,
I got it down till about a minute and a half.
Who made a statement about Eminem? Oh, Warren G. And you know, I met Warren G. Shout out Warren G.
Yeah.
he said he may be like top 15 or something like that. But I'm like, the one thing he made me think of is like, I don't play Eminem around my girl though. Like I can't, you feel me?
No, I feel that.
Like, and that goes back to, because everyone wants to make the Drake argument. You can't play Kendrick around the hoes. Who wants to be like that? Who wants to think like that? So if you can't play Kendrick around the hoes, what makes you think you can play Eminem around the hoes? Sorry, hoes. Don't mean to call you hoes. I love you, hoes.
No, though. That's some, I'd go, and it's not like I'll listen to a full Eminem CD, but I have tracks that I like by Eminem. And that's when I'm in super hip hop nerd mode. I just want to hear lyrical stuff. And it's not even necessarily, but he does have a few songs that make you feel, but most of the time I don't want to feel. I just want to hear his rap ability, his ability to say words rhythmically at a certain pace, like rapping. You know what I mean? Just that ability, like going to see a nigga's handles. You know what I mean? He might not be that good at everything else. He's like, but that man's got a string on the ball. It's like that. That's how I look at rap versus hip hop.
That is
Artists
very
versus
true.
rappers.
It's like, and like that's why this is like the first time we ever brought that like thing up, because like that shows you how it doesn't matter. Like that doesn't affect somebody's greatness. It's like your ability to pigeonhole them. Because like, I'm sorry, but like commercialism, that makes like, are you trying to build a rapper? You know what I'm saying? Or are you trying to like, some people are niche. Some people are niche. And Eminem might be one of the deepest in the niche category that he is in. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, gosh, who's in that category? Him, Cannabis, Tech Nine, and
Like that.
Like
That's sleep.
Twista.
One other thing I forgot to say to Damo,
Twista
and
got
I'll
them
give him
slow
a chance to
jams.
reply. The only reason I'm saying is he's not on here, obviously, but Eminem invented the stand. We were trying to say, like, what is he giving the culture? Like, he literally invented the stand. Like, we'll be like, you stand for this, I stand for that. And it's like, that was the song Stand, where he sampled old girl, and that's dope that she even came in and sung her own song. He didn't even have to sample it, like she came in and sung it for him.
That's crazy. I ain't even gonna lie.
Like he invented the stand. So like that's what I meant when I was like saying, yes, he's a lyrical miracle. You know, you might not get too much as far as the culture and be like, yeah, we do that. It's kind of like you said, we don't talk about our mamas like that, but specific parts like that, like
correct.
He's the original that. So they're all trying to be the white boy rappers that are lyrical miracles. They're trying to be that. So I'm like, I give him that. Like he didn't take that from nobody. He's like, shit, that was me. Like I'm the blueprint for them.
Right. I agree.
You know, that's
out
about as far as it go. Yeah.
Shout out him.
Good rapper. You want to stay on hip hop for a second?
Why? Do you have something about something that's happened that hasn't happened in the last 35 years?
Yeah, I do.
Gosh. We on the string. And I'll sit to him, Rashad. I got some theories.
It's crazy. My question at the top is what's going on with hip hop? Because I'm sure a lot of y'all already know, but it says that basically first time since 1990, there's not a top 40 hip hop song on the charts right now. Top 40. All the rappers you like, all the people y'all love, none of them have a song in the top 40 right now. The last one to drop out was Kendrick and SZA with Luther. And I do want to say this real quick. It dropped out because Billboard made some new rule that recurrent songs will be removed if they've been on the chart for a certain amount of time while simultaneously falling under certain chart thresholds. So something about like Luther had fallen under 25, then to 38, and it's been on there for like 46 weeks, and they like took it out because I guess it wasn't meeting certain criteria. So it's like, are you saying technically it still is a top 40 song? Like, I don't know. Why would that be made now, that threshold? Like, are they trying to keep fresh songs on there? Or like, is it a scheme against hip hop? Like, I don't know.
I just think it's you know how the game updates and there's some new rules, and maybe they like running backs where it's like Yeah, there's still plenty of great running backs out there, but you're devalued a little bit in the current system because it just doesn't fit what you do well as a genre. Pop is made for pop. It's made for pop to stay in there. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just asking the question. Do you think it's the current climate? I mean, last time this happened, HW was in office.
And we wasn't born.
And I don't know if 1990 was the best year for hip hop or rap when it comes to the type of music that was being made to, stay atop the billboards. Once balling culture comes in, we kind of stay in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if like we transitioning over from like NWA, like Public Enemy kind of rap reputation and switching over to more of a Diddy and East Coast, West Coast. I'm trying to think of really like, because that was kind of like a shift, right? Like the 1990 specifically. So that's why I'm kind of like, maybe it's a shift in hip hop. Maybe it may signify that as well. Even something that we might be seeing. Do you think it's like overly bad? Like, do you think it like ultimately means anything to like rap's ability to be commercial?
No, because it's commercially, that's the weird part. I feel like bigger than ever, literally commercially. Our own commercials, on advertisements, like it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Literally commercially. So,
Yes. Weights and hi-hats and you feel me? Like
even certain songs
samples.
Yes.
Or just like renditions and renditions.
But I'm like, that's a rap, like you're rapping.
What's the tires? The NASCAR tires. Goodyear?
Yep. They use Dre.
But that's a whole conspiracy for me saying that since Snoop Dogg has taken over, that they lease out a lot of their shit a lot more. That's my whole thing.
Interesting.
So, just a little you digs. And
so,
then
I had one other question about it.
Yeah.
As far as being hip hop fans minus the commercial, people that are real hip hop fans, is it an underlying issue like the creativity's down, everything's almost sounding the same? Or is it just like you said, it's just a shift and it happens every so often and it's just what's happening at this exact moment?
What do you want to listen to? Like me, like I'm not gonna lie, where I'm at, I want some regional shit. I want some Memphis. I want, if I'm going hard, and then I want like mature rap, like Larry June, like 2 Chainz. And then some shit I can play with my chicks. So, some Brent Faiyaz, some, you feel me, some kind of soulful though. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like soul, like Buddy, like shit like that. That's what I know I want. And then of course like real hip hop, Griselda, shit like that. Like that feeds me too. I love Herbo, if you want to talk young cats and stuff like that, but I like Rhapsody. You know what I'm saying? If it comes to female rap or things like that, like I'm not big into the whole wave that's popular right now. And I'm also not big into the young boy kind of like auto-tune rap fast kind of deal. I think that ran its course because we grew up on Migos, so it feels a little different to us. So for us, I don't feel like we're supporting those two, which may be the difference of like, we're not supporting it to the extent we would support other music. So that might be just my theory.
What was I going to say?
Because it doesn't encompass all of us.
No, and just to touch on your point of like what you want to hear right now, I really into that grimy Griselda rap. So like I'd be starving for it. I'd be like going and finding the old stuff. I don't know. It's just the feeling that it gives. And that's what I want right now. So, and that ain't necessarily going to top the charts. Cause I was like really thinking about them. I was like, they're doing this. This is how I got around to this. They don't make edited versions. When I'm listening to my songs in my car, I hate edited versions. When it comes on, I actually hit to the next. I'm like, no, I want the raw song that they made. So anyways, then I was like, Griselda I've never heard an edited version, so they don't make them. So they're doing this without radio. They're not, because they don't even have that. So like, they're not on the radio and they're taking over like this, like, I don't know. So what I'm trying to put that into is saying it could be some of that. Like, so they can't even really get on the Billboard charts. You know what I mean? Like they can't even get on the radio. So, and those are some of the best MCs we have out right now. Like, I was just thinking about that.
Do you think it's a good thing or like a bad thing? Like, do you think us being more rooted in our craft is a bad thing to our commercial? Do you think we should take a step back commercially and get back to our roots? Or do you think that this may be like us drawing back on the over exploitation of our genre in the first place.
I think that first thing you said, where it's like, to hell with the charts, make your art in the rawest form that you make it in, which is how hip hop started. You know, they were partying and doing other stuff originally, even though everybody wants to say
right. You're talking
it's
about house
not, but
music.
It's like, no, that's where it started.
Yeah,
I mean,
house music, right?
But that was their pure form.
Right.
Make it in your pure form. Don't think about basically reverse engineering a chart hit. So if that means that, hey, hip hop as a whole takes a hit on Billboard charts, y'all say Grammys don't matter, you know what I mean, and stuff. So why does this matter?
And YoungBoy can only be played on like one radio station, and he only has like one or two songs that he can play on that bad boy in every city. You know what I'm saying? In every major metropolitan area. You know what I'm saying? So NBA YoungBoy is the biggest for the kids. He ain't commercial neither.
Right. So I say do your art.
No,
once you start that trying to reverse engineer it, your art's watered down. It's just what it is. You're cutting it. You're cutting it.
But you really are though. And a lot of times I hear a lot of like cats who are pretty good. Like the only difference is like might need a better mix and master. Just need to just find something that's a little bit more catchy for people to rock with, maybe. But other than that, like a lot of that shit's like that raw shit's what we kind of fiend for. I think we're kind of fiending for it now. Maybe I think they turned it. Okay, maybe we said okay.
What I'll say, and the last thing I'll say about it is, if you are artists, figure out what you want, and then that's how you. If
and then
you
go
just
hard
like,
at that.
I don't care about none of that. All right, make your pure form. If you do want to be on the charts and that's your dream, okay, well, just understand what you're doing it for then.
Right. On Cry Wolf, you went hunting with the wolves.
And understand that, let's say you do blow, one day you're going to be judged for what you put out.
That's the thing. It's a scary thing.
And these are just mentions. We ain't even got to go into it. You see NLE dissed YB.
I didn't hear the song. I saw it, and I heard Charleston White talking about you ain't allowed to diss or something like that. Go back to making that little foo-foo dance music or whatever he was saying.
So two things can be true at once, like we always say.
I figured it was going to be that.
What he's saying is true, but it's just coming from NLE.
I knew it. I
mean,
I knew it.
So that. And then Gibbs versus Benny the Butcher's heating up again.
Is it because he can't Frozone?
No, not even. I've seen that. What's his name? What's that gun dropped? Hills Have Eyes too.
Yeah, 3.
3.
I haven't listened to it yet. Yes, I did.
It's dope. First song, it's called Free Rollies, featuring Benny the Butcher, and he's talking about apparently the roller he stole from Freddie Gibbs. Like,
God,
that's why it's called Free
Bro,
Rollies.
these two are endless, dog. These two are silly. They kind of meant for each other. I kind of like this.
And on my way back to my apartment today, I was listening to their song together. I was just like, wow, they made a good song too. And then
Poetic Justice ass niggas.
Right. And now look at y'all. So interesting to see where that's gonna go. But that's really all I got on hip hop today.
Them two are funny. One is stealing rollies. I believe Benny stole his rollie because he's out here trying to steal money from us.
Right. He's like, look, all you gotta do,
dude,
niggas knew it.
He didn't even want to look at that camera in the eye. He was kind of like, so that's what in my head. That's what. Like you slithering like a snake. You don't even know it. Your unconscious is spilling out.
That's crazy. So let's go across the pond to London. I don't know if you've seen, they were protesting, and I seen that protest, and I was like, what are they protesting? So a new mandatory UK digital ID, sometimes called the brick card, is planned for introduction, but it's not available yet. It'll be built by the government, stored on phones and in an app, and used to prove identity, especially the right to work. This was announced just in September, and it's controversial due to concerns over privacy and civil liberties. So kind of like crypto, it's not going to have a centralized database. So that is already like, what? So yeah, we're here. Everybody's always been talking about getting the chip, and they're trying to do it in London. And there was a lot of people at that protest. I guess I got a few questions about it. Do you think it's the mark of the beast? Like, because a lot of people say that's the mark. Do you think that? Like, what's their end goal?
Complete surveillance. Complete and utter surveillance.
Big brother?
I don't like it. Y'all shouldn't either. We're about to have like a divide in society if this hits the U.S. I don't know if I think they in the U.S. know they probably can't get away with this. Not yet. We kind of at that stage, like that line. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie to you. It's not the mark of the beast as in the Bibles, but it's you know how you used to keep count. It's not Roman numerals when you hit the 1, 2, 3, 4 tallies and then the diagonal across. I would feel like it's one of those marks where it's like put it on the board. 10 might be the mark of the beast. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it might be 10 tally marks where it's like
this ain't the final.
Nah, this has been like, these are 30-year plans and things like that. Get you sick and then raise the health care. They got to wait though. They got to plant the food to get you sick, and they got to hurry up and pass laws with the FDA and lower the beef standards in the 80s and 70s. Just whatever. You feel me? Like it takes years. So then when they get a broke economy and then when they have assets that they can pass down to us, we don't have the money in order to, and then the government takes it and then the government gets rich. So it's like that's why I'd be like, it's not necessarily the mark of the beast. That's how my mind thinks of it. So I don't know. What do you think?
No, that's a good point. And I think I agree with you. These are almost like they knew what the end goal was back whenever. You know what I mean? But like you said, this takes real time. This takes 2 or 3 generations to pull this stuff off. So yeah, like, okay, right now we're gonna wheel this out. They just dropped this in the 70s, like they wouldn't have been ready for that. I mean, just imagine that in the 70s. So
And you know, our technology was going crazy in the 60s. So we could have came up with some primitive form of what we're talking about right now.
So it's almost like herding sheep. Like you just gotta get them to, you need them in this gate.
Yeah.
Like what
it's like
I'm gonna do to get them there might look weird, but it's like, hey, this is gonna get them
I'm gonna
there.
send some dogs. I'm gonna get this. Before I slaughter them, maybe I'm gonna cut all their wool off and make sure I use that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a whole process. It's not just, it's a whole thing where you just keep looking around. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they can't do y'all like it. They can't do us like it. That's why it's just like, just wake up, because they can't push us around like it. Like they can't, not realistically. All they can do is end the world.
So another question.
Keep going.
You're kind of answering it about yourself. Would you be a resistor? And keep in mind, they're making it to where you almost can't work without it. You know, eventually, once they get it all implemented, like
Yeah, that's the part that I worry about. Yeah, kind of like the Black Mirror episode where old girl picks her up in the truck. Like that's like we're gonna be like that, where it's like if you don't even like, if you're not part of the Matrix, bro, you live in the slums. Which makes me wonder about Neo before he got founded, because Neo always wondered. So he really wasn't bought into the Matrix, which is why he lived so poorly, because he always wondered. So those things, like, you never took those paths to attain those things. It's like to run for president, you have to have a resume to get elected. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go this, you got to check all these off. Like, if you don't have these prerequisites, you can't get in this class, and that class is a form of classism, maybe. Or just some shit like that.
So, I don't know.
I know I'm not going to do well in that world.
Make some money. Yep.
We're going to need to learn how to hunt and a subsistence farm and get out into the boonies, which is why everyone was talking about we need to get a family compound and this and that. Like, hey, don't forget the end goal, like, because you're gonna wake up one day and then wish you had. I still want to do that. I gotta figure out. Yes, we just can't forget the end goal, because the world is starting to trickle into what me and you always talked about. But it's like, how do we prepare for that? What does that look like? We preparing for something that what is the Noah? What does the ark look like, nigga? I don't know where to start.
Whew. What does the arc look like? Jeez.
What does the arc look like? That's hard. But that's just real shit, where it's just like, we can't forget like that. If you feel it in your gut, you know it's true. Don't forget those gut feelings churning deep in, you know what I'm saying? Like, we say these things, but like, don't act like, it kind of feels like God being like, I told you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell you, but whenever that thought came across your mind and you got that tingling sensation, you ignored it. So I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know, just some metaphysical shit. I don't know how we got so far off. I don't know.
No, I was just thinking about.
And then what does that look like? What does that look like, Rashad? So how do we enter this new economy?
Right.
Are we going to get down and lay down, it feels like? Because we don't have a choice, right? But then conspiratorially, are all the old jobs about to be gone and only the new jobs that exist are about to be the ones that are up to code with what we're about to see going on in Great Britain?
See, that's the thing.
Monkey see, monkey do.
So that, and then also, so like these movies of these future utopians and dystopians, and they look so cool, but how do we get there? It's going to be a lot of this from now. It looks like that, you know what I mean? Where it's just these futuristic cities and everything is AI and this and that. But there's going to be a lot of this until that point.
I think me and you need to break down the Animatrix. Because my mama comes to me with new stuff and my dad, and I'm just like, y'all haven't seen the Animatrix? Y'all haven't seen? Let me break it down maybe. Because like everything y'all saying to me, like that's what leads up to, my dad's just like, we're just becoming more robots. They're just programming us. Everything's on the phone and everything you got to do is through this and through that. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. He's like, rap also, music sounds the same. We all thinking the same thoughts. We all just reposting alike and not too many original creations of stuff no more. And then my mom's like, yeah, AI and people not wanting to do jobs and making it classism within that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, y'all are all just explaining the Animatrix. That's all y'all keep explaining to me. And they're like, how do we get there? And it's just like, what happens when you just let the robot do your job? What happens when the robot wakes up or you abuse it and then it hits you or do something? You don't think we'll all create this human shield for our future generations? Y'all crazy.
You ain't gonna have no choice.
But then we go to our robot, Shia LaBeouf, his ass not wanting to go home, having a bat and shit. Yeah, just like a war, just like, it's going to be a war in one way or another. What kind of war is it going to be? It might not always be just, everybody thinks it's just, I got to worry about somebody bombing them. I might be in a silent war right now where we're collecting data and all these things to use against you when the time is right. Kind of in lightweight, I feel like we're selling America out. We're kind of like pimping her out right now under Donald Trump. Like, yeah, you can have EA and all that data and then blah, blah, blah. You can have this and then, yeah, we're going to do this and do that. And I'm just like, I forgot what he did with China, where China has more information about us now. I'm just like, and you were talking about TikTok? We got to talk about real shit. It's confusing, I know,
Right.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's all tied together, but
it's a lot going on. Like you said, though, it's like, what kind of war is it going to be? Like, we're living in a society where data is starting to be like almost as important as, I don't know, an atomic bomb, especially if stuff is going towards AI. Like, yeah. So that's a different type of war. That's crazy.
You're going to have to fight with AI. You're going to have to build your own AI units and fight with AI.
Warren, where you at?
You don't have to, like, plasma pistols and all that shit, 3D printers. Speaking of Warren, he just bought a 3D printer for his YouTube channel.
Hey, there we go.
I shouldn't have said all that together. Now he's on the government watch list.
He's on it immediately.
Because I put all them words together. I'm sorry, Warren.
They said, who's Warren?
Right, who's Warren? Warren G.
Hey, I figured it out like that, though. So.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
They said, who's Warren? He was on episode number
Warren
47.
He said he was haunted one time by you feel me? Like,
right.
Like, only like 3 people in the world know that, us 2 and him.
Right.
It's just like, what? It's just crazy. So I don't think we should be like crazy concerned. It's just like, get your shit together kind of thought process.
But right back, I know I'm going in a circle a little bit, but what does that look like? What does the arc look like?
What does the arc look like?
What is the start of it like?
If you don't, I think, but in our heads, we thinking if you're going to be on the technological like paradigm that will exist, like, you have to be bought in to some extent. Does it look like a minimalist, like Neo, where it's just like, I use as much old shit and analog. I just try to use all this just different stuff to communicate with people who are actually on this different network because we're trying to all be like this? Or does it look like you living on a commune with no technology at all? For the conspiratorial 5G, MK Ultra kind of like people who argue like weapons was an experiment on the whole city. It wasn't just one person. Like kind of deal where it's like, if you want to get deep conspiratorial, it's like you eat bad food. Bad food leads to parasites. Parasites linked with the technology leads to mind control or some shit. Turns you to a, kind of deal. If you believe in that way, you might want to go live on a commune. make your own food, maybe live off the earth, try to purify yourself in every way possible. Then if you're on the other end, maybe just be a minimalist and try to network on like lower tier channels and things like that. That's just a quick assessment.
Right.
That would be kind of dope on a video game though, if you could choose both paths and then kind of like live it out and see what happens. One would be like a Cloverfield, like type shit where like one day they gonna run up on you or something like that. What you gonna do? You gonna have enough food to make it through? You feel me? Just some shit like that. Or is it like you gotta work your way through this technological world of surveillance and all this stuff with just this little bit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Watch Dogs type shit.
It's gonna be interesting because a lot of time we talk about this type of stuff, people our age would be like, I probably won't be alive. I don't know, man. It's like almost exponentially speeding up.
I'm glad you admit to that because I think people who think on this wavelength agree with you. I've talked to multiple people about this. Same thing that you're talking about, where it's like now, like we're going to have to be more prepared than all the people in our past because it speeds up quicker.
We're going to Terminator type stuff.
Until it actually breaks down. Like it's just going to keep going exponentially.
Sending people back in the past. I know that sounds absolutely insane.
But then that's when you get to the commune living. Well, I'm already there. Or is it just inevitability that you have to be? That's hard. Bro, with AI, bro, they should be able to create video games like easier now. Like, come on. I should be able to like create this video game in like a month. Oregon Trail, fucking nature, the commune, living, decision scenario, making, harvesting skill versus fucking, I don't even, like I said, Watch Dogs.
So you just made me think GTA 6 might be the last just old school way of making a video game this good. Like the next one that comes out. Because like how long it's taking now. But
time and money.
Eventually, I mean, it's just gonna have to take a step up and where it's just easier. And it's like, yeah, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny to do it, but you're also gonna be ahead of the curve to where you can't even fathom how much you're gonna make off this because you're gonna be the first one to do it.
Correct. Atari, Pong, Nintendo, and shit like that. We may not be the best, but we was damn near the first.
Right.
Go worldwide at least.
We're going to make money forever as long as video games exist.
And we transition into leases now and just game leases and things like that. You know what I'm saying? They transition from the consoles to they still make consoles, don't get me wrong, but they transitioned with the times too. So
I hope y'all following us. I know y'all be like, how'd y'all get, but like you got to follow the trail. You got to follow the trail.
Yeah. That's going to be a lot of that today. So it's okay. You can go back and rewind a little bit. It's just a conversation that if you don't have right now, I guarantee you'll have in the future to some degree with somebody. And so you can always come back and reference it or just be like,
I'm going to be honest.
Just like they crazy.
Right.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
Honest.
I mean,
the
world is better. So
exactly.
I like to be wrong.
Sometimes though, I wish I was ignorant. I know you're like, what? But like, ignorant people be having fun. They be having fun. They don't care. Like, they're like, I'm not looking into that. I'm just going to do this. And whenever it ends, it ends. I sometimes really do wish I could think like that. I can't.
Me too. I can't. Not like in good faith. Like I can't.
Right.
God ain't make me to be on that. I be thinking of like if it's a spiritual war, like that means I'm in the foxhole or something like that. Or I'm, me and you up here doing spy missions and just hide, gaining intelligence and like, which situations and stuff like that. Like I look at what part of the war are you in? Some people, they just, they in the mess hall. It's all good. That's all good. We need everybody.
Yep. So I got one more semi-serious thing and then something kind of funny. Then we can get into your stuff to wrap us up. So you know how much I despise Apple. If you know me, I'll argue with anybody about it. I'm a Google Pixel guy. I ain't saying Google's the best. I ain't saying I understand that pick your devil, pick your poison. But I don't know. There's something about Apple I just don't like, especially. I came across this thing talking about their bad business practices. They're always being sued for something, even if it's not like major news. They literally always are being sued. This one, I just want to point this stuff out. And people be like, why don't you like them so much? Like they piss me off how they do business, how they do their phones, how they do a lot of shit. This one, so they're facing multiple lawsuits about this, and even the DOJ got involved.
Oh gosh, what'd they do?
But they claim Apple uses control over iPhone's ecosystem to stifle competition in areas like messaging, digital wallets, smartwatches, and others accuse Apple of unfair label practices regarding employee privacy, false advertisement related to Apple Intelligence, and ongoing litigation from Epic Games concerning the App Store. So just all different type of stuff. But I want to tell you some specific things that everybody knows that you probably did not think is like bad business practice. Things like making Android messages green to make, it's basically subliminally planting, and it works. When I tell you, you can't say it don't work, because this is arguments between people in real life. It makes people that have an iPhone think like, as soon as you see green, cheap phone, I don't even want to talk to them. I mean, literally, there was a point we were going through where it was, I think, kind of a joke, but girls were like, as soon as that green pop up, I don't even want to talk to him. You know, broke nigga, all that type of shit. Drake has a bar where he's like, I was messaging, her messages was lime green. When you hear it, you like, that has been happening. Like, yeah, they subliminally planted that into y'all. Like, that's a bad business practice.
I'm gonna say, if I'm the lawyer though, I'm gonna say, now how you gonna tell me how to control the color of my text on my platform?
Right.
What is
true.
What is the psychological? Prove me in it scientifically that in comparison to blue, green is a lesser color. That's what I would say. But culturally, the way we've taken it on, yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, it's part of Apple's plan, though. You can't say that, like, you didn't mean to do it because, like, you in the business of saying that I have the best product. So, but when I say that, am I saying that and incriminating myself when I do something that supposedly creates a gap? Like, I'm creating an inequality. I'm agreeing with you. I just don't know if you can prove it.
No. I hear you. Right.
In court.
And
which
it's true.
But those are two different things, though. Like, am I culpable in court by law? Maybe not. Are you culpable? Yeah. I didn't smack her ass. I did touch her. What?
Right. I breezed past and I tripped.
Right. You can't prove it. You can't prove I intentionally smacked the ass, though.
And he looks back at his nigga, I smacked that mother.
Right. You over here talking about, well, right.
That must jiggled.
If I forget, wiggle.
That's crazy. Don't cancel us. Oh, shit.
I know it ain't jam. I know it ain't Jello. Right? Or whatever
He said that right after.
Did he say that? No. Like, I heard him say that.
I was talking about my sandwich.
Can you or can you not prove he had Jello early in the day? Yes or no?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. No. All right. End of discussion.
This is why you can't go to court with us. This shit go off the rails real quick, bro. They're gonna be like, bro.
Left, all the way left. Like, what's going on? Order in the court.
We in there getting in trouble and shit like school.
Right.
Order. Quiet down.
Wow.
Mr. Pod, get back to the original questioning. Otherwise, you're through interrogating for now. Cross-examination's over with.
It's over. Stop this madness. 2 more. Group messages have issues when an Android phone is involved. This is something
I agree with that one.
Personally have done.
I agree with that one. My thing is, the Android phones do group messages equally with everybody?
Just fine.
Then yes.
Just fine.
No, I'm not even going to find you too much culpable as more so as I'm going to encourage you to not do that. Because that kind of stifles communication. Like,
right.
It's in everyone's best interest. Like, could you imagine, like, an emergency happens and because you don't have that and someone's trying to send something and something happens to somebody? I would kind of argue that your design made it possible for something like that to occur.
See, so you're getting on the bigger issues of that stuff. Because, like, I'm being a little silly with these, but they are actual things. Like the DOJ ain't, they're not going to say these things.
Right.
When they're for real going at them. But they're going to put it more professionally, let's say. You don't think about them like that, but to me, I'm like, yeah, like shit like this. And the last one, for now. Pictures from Androids to Apple phones are purposely downgraded in quality. And I know this one for a fact because I got a Pixel 7. My Pixel 7 is, I swear, the camera can still keep up with all the latest iPhones. People still see my pictures, my videos sometimes, like actually on my phone. They're like, what do you have? And I'm like, yeah, I got that Pixel 7.
Right.
That's 3 generations ago. They're on the 10.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah. And when this came out, it was a hit. I would take videos in 4K and I couldn't even put them on TikTok.
You couldn't even, yep.
Basically, it's too good. I can't accept that video right now. So that was just to say that there are other cameras other than iPhone that are top of the line.
Q-face, them waist with a big behind.
Right, for real. And then, so I send it to an iPhone user and I see it on their phone and it's like a little pixely. And I'm like, man, no, like, here, let me upload it directly because my shit was better than that. And then that's another practice that goes in an iPhone user's head who won't think too deep into it. They're just going to see it and be like, man, he got a weak ass Android. You know what I mean? I'll never get that.
How did Androids become weak, though? Due to monopolization of the personality. Well, if you don't have a Mac computer and a Mac phone and then the AirPods, not earpods, AirPods. If you don't got AirPods, you a broke boy too. That's part of it too. Apple is a standard. It's a class. They sold it that well. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, but you also don't want to stifle too much with a company that makes so much money, pays so much in taxes, does this and that and shit like that. So it's like you want to keep the relationship good. You got to play the necessary game.
That's all I really got on that. I seen that and I was like, yeah, I got a few words for Apple on this one. You can go type in Apple lawsuit and you can find one that I ain't even heard of. They got plenty. So I got to look further into to make stuff like what I'm saying more than just kind of like my opinion is the business practices and what's actually illegal. I learned that. Then I can be like, no, this is literally doing that. Like
and they have plenty of illegal business practices.
Right. You're walking a fine line with the stuff y'all are doing if you aren't doing it already. So that's something I need to look into.
At the very least, you're doing bad shit with data. At the very least, you're exploiting kids overseas. At the very least. So we're talking about shit that you can really we arguing about in American court systems and shit like that. But
right.
And the God's law, man, y'all the ones that took the bite out the apple that y'all got on God's logo.
Your shit. Logo.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got one last one. I know Gen Z gonna be like, all right, this old ass nigga still got stuff to say. First off, I ain't that old. Second off, this in the world, people still be like, I'm a kid. I'm being for real. I'm 32, by the way. And people will still like at work, oh, you're a baby. You know what I mean?
Whatever, Unc.
Right. And that's how they gonna feel. Hey, shut your old ass up, nigga. You ain't a baby, nigga.
Y'all like your boy and baby boy. Y'all got them lined up. Nigga about to You about to whip a couple niggas. You and Cuba Gooding's brother.
Crazy. So this is pretty funny. So it says apparently Gen Z is labeling.
They love labels. They love labels. Keep going.
They're labeling forces as dad shoes now. There was this picture of like 4 young niggas standing around a trash can, and they had a white Air Force about to throw it in the trash can. The same picture I saw was apparently the one that went viral, like super viral, for a lot of people, and it caused debates on various social media sites. Shout out to MSN. There was some like back and forth in the comments, but Gen Z people were saying that no, we're not doing that. Y'all are thinking about Gen Alpha on this specific topic. Gen Z, they're like, shit, we grew up, we were still creasing our forces. We weren't throwing them away. Like, and they're like, we're pushing 30. Which they are. Gen Z is about 18 to 28 because me and you, we're on the border. We're closer than we think to being Gen Z. We like late millennials. But they're saying like, no, we don't look at them as dad shoes. We still rock forces and whatever. they're like, it's those preteens on TikTok and Gen Alpha
I agree.
who is doing this and calling Air Force One old man energy and unk shoes and dad shoes. Because they're like, we want less bulky, more retro and internationally weird shoes. Adidas Sambas.
I love them.
I don't even know what this is. I'm probably saying it wrong. Onitsuka Tigers. And they're even bringing back grandpa shoes, but making them new again because they're taking credit. Yes, they're taking credit for New Balances and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't
and
get credit for
reviving
that.
them.
Well, I mean, I guess. I give it's like a 70-30. Cause we help you bring those back too, though. We rock
Right,
him.
right.
We rock him tough too, like, so it's like we just
Right.
don't rock him. Like, y'all decided for y'all that's y'all's shoe, which I fuck with. That's what's up. But at the same time, like, I ran in Asics. Like, those were, if you ran track back in the day, like, and your parents could afford some Asics, like, that was your pair of shoes. Like, go get them. You feel me? Where it's like, y'all make them motherfuckers look clean. Y'all make them Asics look clean. Y'all love
Right.
wearing the joggers with the Asics. The dudes do. It's just the chicks with like the New Balances, kind of like the fat bottom New Balances and shit like that. Like, yeah, I mess with that. I mess with all that. I mess with that. So I agree with him. I agree with that breakdown. I mess with y'all. We can agree there. We don't got to fight this time.
Right.
We don't got to fight this time.
Right.
But Gen Alpha
don't-
now. Y'all trying to start wars, but y'all don't even want to be there when the shit starts. Y'all want to gaslight literally and run away. So we got problems with y'all. Lil Rodney, get your shit together.
Right, he is.
Get your mans.
He's borderline Gen Z, but he's
I know. That's what I was about to say.
technically
He probably has
Alpha.
he has a Gen Z soul and a Gen Alpha.
Right. He's got a little older soul than how old he actually is. So he probably identifies way more with Gen Z.
I just look at him. He probably has a little bit more like, not wisdom, but I don't know. You know how it is. So,
And what I apologize to Gen Z about is in my head, I was like, damn, y'all are almost 30. I was like we just said, we're late millennials. So like
we're late millennials and we're
almost Gen Z. So like, yeah, y'all right behind us. So like in my head, I still thinking about teens and this and that. And I'm like, so yeah, I'm happy y'all took up for yourselves. Like, nigga, we not that. Like, shit.
But
we starting to think for ourselves too.
We lightweight mess with Gen Z though, because y'all like all our little cousins or just like little homies or just shit like that. So like we close enough to where we rub off on each other and yeah.
Because even within millennials, we have a divide about halfway
Hell
through.
yeah. Yeah, we are young millennials though when you really think about it. We are young ones. Because the older millennials, yeah, they a little different. Not a little different, they just like, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's almost where old school stops.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go. I like that.
Like
I
halfway
that.
through us.
That's what Mike's talking about. I needed you to come alley. I threw it up. Needed you to come alley oop it. What was Rashad think though? Shit, they kind of the end of the old school. Oh shit, son.
Right.
Shit, son. Old ass niggas. Like,
shit.
Rashad's just like, I just said it.
Right.
You
It is what it is.
You just try to say, a nigga asks you a question, you give them your literal response, and then nigga tries to hype it up and try to act like you try to turn into something.
It's like, bro, I didn't just come in here and say that. Like, y'all asked me.
This was all a setup.
Right.
It was all a dream.
So no, I thought that was interesting. Like I said, it gave me a new perspective on Gen Z. Like, just the realization, I know the years y'all was born, but in my head, I was just still like, oh, the teens. Those teens that we think about is Gen Alpha.
They be calling y'all a little too sensitive. Maybe it's the younger Gen Zs. The older Gen Zs, I mess with y'all. I don't think y'all are sensitive. They rope y'all into the sensitivity category. I think it's young Gen Z, almost alpha. I think it's them.
Right.
That are the prime ones. And then there's some old ones, but they just kind of weak to me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. They don't represent Gen Z like that.
Right.
Stand up Gen Z. Let's go.
Do your thing. So. And one thing just to mention, I did tune into that Game 7 World Series last night just because
I was wondering
on the line, bro. Only thing I got about that is Dodgers back-to-back 3 rings in 6 years.
The Magic Johnson effect.
Magic Johnson gets him another one. We're gonna have to put that clip out and add a little bit of this to it.
Yep.
He gets
clips we never put out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Yamamoto wins MVP, pitched game 2, complete game 6 as a starter, and then game 7 as a reliever. He's the one that was on the mound when they won. So
I love Yamamoto. His pitches they break crazy. I mean, you're looking at it, it's heading right towards you, then just drops, then just breaks. And he controls it so well. You think there's no way he can control it too. Yep, he will. He'll do it to you. That's what fucks you up the most, is that you'll be like, no way he can control it that well. He can just throw it there. Yep, sure does. And he walks right off. And it's like, Yamamoto might be the best. Sorry, Shohei.
Blue Jays, right. Shohei got the...
He got the all around, but...
Right.
Yamamoto, right now, his pitching is just...
I'm sure Shohei's like, I get a ring too. I don't care what y'all talking about.
Yeah, Shohei's, he might pawn it off. That's fine. Go back. No, the thing that killed me is that it's the bottom of the ninth and shit. Is it the ninth or is it the fifth? No, it's the fifth. And Shohei gets on base and dude's talking to him and Shohei's like this. And I'm just like, you lying son of a... You over there, you talk English.
Right.
Because I know my boy don't talk Japanese.
Exactly.
I was like, you a liar.
Crazy.
Shohei is cold. Shohei's cold. He's a double agent. He's cold. His agent was the double. Yeah, because he's a double agent on his agent. That's why his agent got canned.
I had to get me a Shohei jersey, and I'm not even that big of a baseball fan. So
he's like it, though. He's like it, and he's just like big, strong, built out of a lab. No Japanese people had them kind of like just wide shoulders like that. Jeez.
Right.
Built well. So teach me something. He's probably Yasuke's peoples and shit.
Right. The Blue Jays were inches away from winning it. That call where dude was running home, he's that far off of base and gets out. I'm just like, I know y'all hurt.
My boy Will Smith, catcher. It's only right that Will Smith hits a slapper for LA to Chris Rock the Blue Jays out of the World Series.
He smacked that motherfucker.
It's a slapper.
He smacked that motherfucker. Like straight
Will
up.
Smith slapped the Blue Jays, like, you get the point. So
Legend.
So not only that, he got a big crucial out. He had to step on home plate without even looking at it. He caught it and looked back. And he never looked backwards, but he stepped on it and probably a quarter of a second before dude slid in. And then he hit the home run to put him up. So shout out Will Smith, man.
That's legendary shit.
We got a local legend. Now that would be top of the line to get him on the show.
Woo! Damn. That's insane.
It's insane, isn't it? Mookie Betts, right? And I will say this, Mookie Betts. Why does he come to Louisville? Why does he do his bowling stuff here? Because he grew up around the corner from my grandparents.
Crazy.
Right in Shibley. Mookie Betts is, I don't know if that's his real, I think it's his, or if not, something like that. So you got Will Smith and Mookie. So that's why Harry Cross or somebody like that bowled with Mookie last time he was here, maybe, or something like that. It was a couple people where it's like, next time Mookie comes in town, we might have to slide. Because it's just something, it's real, just like simple. He's just like, yeah, I'm just pulling up. We're going to bowl. We're going to rent out the bowling alley, pull up. Let's have some fun. Mookie, 4-time, 3-time champion, whatever he is, all the money he's been paid. But it's like, nah, it's just kind of like pull up, bro. It's just
dope.
Cool as shit.
That's dope.
It's cool as shit. Louisville connections, baby. The more you know,
That's insane, actually.
I thought he was Ballard.
Will Smith, I was lightweight hyped for them just off his energy because he knew it was gone. Smacked it. He was like,
I heard it and I was like, really? And then I saw it keep going. I was like, oh, it's gone.
Yep, right.
I was like, as soon as they turned the camera and he was backing up, I was like, oh,
that's gone.
And people
the
argued.
Announcer was like, kind of going out on. I'm like, nah, that's out of here.
Right, exactly. When I saw the camera, when the camera turned around, I saw him backing up. I was like, that's out of here, nigga. What are you talking about? Will is argued to be the best all-around catcher in the game of baseball today, which is why he got that major contract extension. I don't remember the number, 80, 90, whatever he got, but he proved
Where
it.
did my mans grow up?
Will, I don't know, probably on the baseball circuit. Probably why we didn't run into him. Because that feels weird, right? Because he's our age, isn't he? Will's our age, right? He's just younger than us, 30.
Yeah, maybe a little younger. Let's see.
And I don't really remember him. Did he go? He went to U of L, right? He played at U of L. Okay, I'll make sure I'm not tripping. Yeah, he's yeah. I'm surprised we don't know none of his peoples and nothing either. It's kind of weird.
6'2", 200 pounds, about my size, 30 pounds lighter.
You play guard, so you can sit in the 3-point stance for a check.
Right, right.
For about
Hey,
90
you pay me
milli.
that, we'll worry about my knees later.
Yes, sir. Pause. I know my man,
Right.
he hates me, but
Right. Oh, dude.
grown men
A
saying
grown-
pause? A grown man?
This is why I'm not interested in your videos, nigga.
That is funny. That's still funny to me. That last part, like, was that like when someone stabs you, but then they twist it? Like, was he twisted? Yes. Why does that sound go with the movement?
Right?
Nigga, why do they do that? Like,
it's
is that the
natural.
old school? Is that the old school shank real quick? Like, why are they grunting? as
Right.
they do
Nigga,
it?
you stabbed me. I'm hurt.
I didn't say a word. I'm
Right.
sliding down the wall bloody, holding my stomach. Right. Yeah, make it never. That's funny.
Last thing about that game, that catch where a dude ran his own teammate over, he was like, nah, I'm going to get this one. I got this one, Playboy.
Who ran
He
him
was
over?
not playing.
Hey, I don't
thought they
even
was gonna
mind it.
cancel each other out.
Me too.
I was like,
scared. I'm like, there's
no.
no way this is how the fucking shit is about to end. There's no way. Hey, he ran him clean the fuck over.
Clean over. Perfect catch. He didn't even know he was there almost.
Shit, that's how you did Kai in DC.
Right. Just like how.
That's funny
crazy.
as hell. That's crazy. That is. That's dope.
That's all I really got though, so we can get into it.
So you're probably looking at history books. First football game, 1896, maybe. Rutgers and Princeton. I'm like, Rutgers, y'all still suck? No, I was
Damn.
playing. That's crazy.
That
Y'all done
Ito
sucked since
field
the
goal.
Civil War.
Hey, the Ito field goal, every time somebody say Rutgers,
does.
I just
I'm
get a
like, we lost to
flashback.
them? We lost to them?
Crazy.
So football started as like it's mixed between soccer and rugby, American football, which kind of makes sense. No leather helmets, no protection. Collegiate schools and things like that who were making up a sport, so the rules were like on a case-by-case basis, like type shit. Then it started popping. I don't know, you get to the 1880s, 1890s, right? So it's becoming a thing, like traditions of schools. Generally, you're going to talk about your original Ivy League schools, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, Army. It's going to be one of those, Dwight Eisenhower. And with those schools, man, it started becoming a very barbaric sport. We're talking about 8 to 10 man flying wedges with arms interlocked, literally getting stampeded, spinal injuries, arms getting chomped off, niggas dying on the field. We got up to 20 deaths a year. We were literally dying over the game. It was that barbaric. We don't have the rules of the quarterback yet. So for people who have already seen the movie Him with Marlon Wayans and, you know, that whole premise put on spectacle by Jordan Peele and whatever that half-assed director they got to do the film. But outside of that.
Real quick.
Yep.
Throw a little plug in real quick. If you ain't seen the movie, go watch Car Ride Reactions. They've broken it down and he's done his review. So
yes, Car Ride Reaction. Yep. Go check with them first.
At Car Ride Reactions.
As in like car and ride and a reaction. Like, damn, I ain't spelling it. Anyways, very barbaric, man. It got to the point the press and the media and the parents and everybody was like, you're going to have to do something about this. You have to do something about this. Okay. Government intervention. So I can't think of the fucking president at the time. It was basically like, all right, we need to make the game safer, so we're going to change some rules, the forward pass and these things, blah, blah, blah. We took out the 8 to 10 man wedges. So what is the game going to look like going forward from that? There was this little school called the Carlisle Indian Industrial School. And by Indian, yes, I mean indigenous. Founded in 1897 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, by Richard Henry Pratt as a part of a federal effort to assimilate Native American youth into American culture. And generally by doing this, what they would do, is, since it's a federal school, it'll probably be some form of military who would run up on a tribe and snatch their kids from their homes and then take them to boarding school, where they would probably abuse them. They would change their names, they would shave their heads, and they would make them only speak English. So we're not talking about a beautiful romanticized history here. We're talking about people whose lives were already on the line and were already ruined to a certain extent, and they're trying to figure out how to assimilate without going crazy, right? And this is probably just an outlet for them. So just an interesting backstory on the school before we even get into what's going on. The football program began in 1893, and what I'm talking about, of course, you're thinking, well, if they started in 1893, did they have players who died? Of course. But the records at a school like that probably weren't kept well, considering what the inception of the school was even created to do in the first place to these people, to our people, if you didn't know. I'm rocking today. Perfect sweatshirt to wear. So shout out to my peoples. But the team became nationally famous in the early 90s, coinciding with the rule changes under coach Pop Warner and Jim Thorpe, who, yes, is indigenous. I never knew Jim Thorpe was indigenous.
No.
Never knew it.
No, I did not. Jim Thorpe.
One of the Jim Thorpe Award. Pop Warner is the name, if people don't know, of Little League football. It's the actual domain or corporate body. Native Americans at this time are going up against the crazy, heavily funded Ivy League schools and these huge, they're playing Army too in schools like this. Native Americans, they were smaller. So they walk into a sport that is bloody that is bloody as hell, basically. And how do they survive? They take advantage of these innovations of the rules and basically create the quarterback, which is what him was alluding to when the forward pass was invented, which is what we know today. Who else can forward pass? Nobody on the offense can forward pass except the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just this. It was multiple things. And they had to deal with a lot along the way. It just wasn't this beautiful story, like I said, of taking advantage of some rules and now our lives are great. You know what I'm saying? No. And they just didn't create a pass where someone just ran out there, neither. And these plays wasn't Pop Warner just doing it. These were the players themselves leading the way. So shout out to the indigenous history within football because when he says that the creators have been relegated to the mascots of the position, have been created to a Florida State Seminole, a Cleveland Indian, a Washington Redskin, a Chicago Blackhawk. You want to harness the energy of the creators. Like I said, they used creativity, speed, and innovation. It wasn't just running plays. They were running precise design passing plays. They were creating what we know as the modern route tree. In 1907, against University of Chicago, they used the pass to outmaneuver. That was the first time they really used it to outmaneuver big teams. Spread out, you know what I'm saying? Not just run a 32 dive and shit like that. One of their most famous plays in 1903 against Harvard allowed players disguise the ball under a specially modified jersey or hid it behind their backs during a formation switch, which led to those switcheroo play confusing Harvard's defense in a game in which they won, I think, 6-0, something like that. So it was that was the play. Of course, the press called it, they were doing witchcraft. What? As soon as isn't that crazy? I bet they didn't accuse nobody. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about today, modern day, when we're reading these dog whistle words that they use in sports that we know they don't, a heady basketball player. What race is he, Rashad?
Heady?
Uh-huh.
White.
Sneaky athletic. What race is he?
White.
It's impressive he has such good accuracy since he's a running quarterback. Or if he's a running quarterback, what race do you think he is if he's labeled as a running quarterback?
Black.
If he's an athletic point guard, what race is he?
Black. Okay,
so we kind of get where those things start to mold and what that archetype is fulfilled with. You know what I'm saying? So there's things like that. So it's let's not play the game of that. But let's keep going. And stop me whenever you feel like you want to say something, or ask a question. Next thing, they invented pre-snap shifts and unbalanced lines to help with the bigger guys. So they will hurry up, sneak a guy over, hurry up, sit here in their normal formation, then overload it with a shift over here. They were using rules like that in order to pull off some of their plays, even run plays that they couldn't get off just on a normal set defense, which is something that we use today, big time. We damn near use it every play. It's how we uncover man coverage for a quarterback. Send somebody in motion. Somebody go with them, man. Right.
We
They got
know,
2 over
right.
top. Okay, they got 2 over top. Cover 2 man, some form of that. They only got 1 over top. All right, cover 1. They don't got nobody over top. All right, cover 0. Like these are things that like are literally in the modern game that we used like for a race of people who are not attributed today into making. You know what I'm saying? Because the quarterbacks, let's be honest, quarterbacks, white, big, make good, quick decisions, and generally, you know. NFL exploited the idea that as black people being lesser, that they didn't make decisions as well as white men, which is why if you make a mistake, any quarterback really is turned into that really to a fault of the whole system. Even white quarterbacks where it's like, you may have a little bit more leeway, Baker Mayfield. You may have little bit more leeway, Johnny Manziel. You still may get drafted high, but at the same time, you're still going to be judged by that same, we can't trust you because you out here doing this and that. Not because of your play on the field, because of the whole thing and how that all becomes a reputation and a resume that you have to uphold. You have to live and sacrifice and become this thing, which is what him was about. That's why the quarterback position was about that. The sacrifice, it's all on you. When it all fails, it's all your fault. When you win, it's thank God for you. You're this deity, lightning rod of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to think. They use misdirection plays, sweeps, and pulling guards. Rashid, they invented you. They invented your skill set.
I figured, I mean, the stuff you were talking about, the unbalanced line, it sounds like they built their game plans off being, we're smaller, quicker. We're going to have to do these things to win this game. For the entire time they were probably there, not just like a season. Like, no, you come play for us, you know how we play. Oh, I figured that came from that as well.
They were masters of fakes, so play action, reverses, and lateral plays. And these plays not only thrilled the crowds, but demonstrated how intelligent and creative they could be in tackling not only the stereotypes, but the physical disadvantages, you know, so uniform changes, color ball tricks, formations. So, and then Pop Warner, if you want to talk about him, his training regimen with Carlisle advanced over time. Let's be honest. Pop Warner was what he was, his environment. Yeah, he was a little racist. Yeah, he thought this and that of them. You know what I'm saying? It's not no perfect relationship. We ain't about to, Pop Warner was this, that's why we named it. As soon as the feds came in, he ran. He didn't give a damn. He knew he was coaching some kids who was being done wrong by a federal government or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like me and you talk about, like Hulk Hogan doesn't have to be the greatest guy for us to sit here and honestly be like, just because he didn't like black people doesn't mean black people don't get more opportunity as a result of what he did overall for wrestling. Y'all didn't agree, but y'all in there. Like, it's how life is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just what it is. So, right. So it's the same way. So, you know, but Pop, his training regimen, it became more of agility drills, balance, and coordination. Things we see that are the mainstays of training today. You know what I'm saying? Speed, you know, just pushing the body's limit, not only in the brute strength way, but even our linemen today are fast as hell. Those are the effects that they had on the game where it's like, nah, we'll be gap specialists on the D-line then. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll do certain things where these archetypes where you just don't have to be a 300-pound nose gorilla. You know what I'm saying? Just like, nah, you can be a fast linebacker and an undersized one. You know what I'm saying? Just all this. So it's dope, man. And then if you want to talk about Jim Thorpe, he was part of the Sac and Fox Nation, actually. His native name was Wathohook. It means bright path. He was born near Prague, Oklahoma. And that was Indian territory. So he got snatched off of Indian territory, I'm guessing. But you got to remember, Jim Thorpe is one of the greatest all-around athletes in history. We're not talking about just football. He got banned and got his medals taken away because he was playing semi-pro baseball. You know what I'm saying? Track and field, he was cold. He won the decathlon and the pentathlon in 1912. So that's why it's like, wow, no offense, but Darwin and them was running around and having Geronimo locked up and showing what Native American, you feel me? And pygmies and putting on human zoo experiments. You had my indigenous Jim Thorpe winning gold medals for America.
Out of Oklahoma, too, it all makes sense. Of course, it would be somewhere like that. That makes sense.
Yep. Just you talking about just like today, like
just like
football land.
Right. And you're saying also that he is Native American
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, it's gonna be an area like that. That makes
Right.
complete sense.
So still
Football
Indian
meets
territory.
football meets Indian territory. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
right. Yeah, I mean, but Thorpe, he was just, I think I said everything. I mean, I'm trying to think. Carlisle's success. Like I said, they were cold, so they beat Harvard, they beat Army, they beat Yale, which was the irony in the whole situation is what I'm going to get to now. It's just, there was a direct contradiction to the school's assimilationist ideology, right? We want you to assimilate to American society, yet and still we're going to assimilate everything that we know is our modern game to what you teach us and how you bend it. You know what I'm saying? We're bending you and making you us, but you're the one who's making our game great and is leading it after we can't play it the way we used to. Like, you take it and run with it. Of course, we don't like you, but like, that's the rules. The players' imbalance, wasn't proof of becoming white as a school intended, but of their own excellence and creativity, which they were being told didn't exist and they were being stripped of at the time. This will go back to, like, you can relate this to 2 Corinthians if you want to, like the and, like in the second part, there's like 3 different parts to it. And the second part is a lot of and. Like, when you're in this world, you're going to get good and bad. You're going to get and. You're going to get and. That's the ether. That's what it is, the push and pull. And that's why he was saying, I'm delivered because I went through all this shit. You not delivered because you didn't go through shit. You can't be delivered. Yes, you can be of the same blood of my of the lineage. Sure. But we talking about God, nigga. We ain't talking about kings. That's your problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in the same realm of thought. If you want like certain games, like Carlisle beat Navy, Army 27-6, which the irony of that, is rich. The Army team featured Dwight Eisenhower, who would later be the U.S. president, but Carlisle beat the shit out of him. They were the sons and grandsons of warriors who fought against the U.S. Army a generation earlier. Now they facing them again on a different battlefield. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they were facing death. They could have died. Of course, the rules changed, but they were playing a bloody game. So it was war again.
This is back to what you just said about how, like, they're beating Army, like, and with people like Eisenhower on it. Like, this is their school, bro.
That's my point. That's my, bro.
You know what I mean?
And like I said, like, this is like, what's that shit with Adam Sandler and Nelly and all them? You just bringing people together, just stripping them from wherever they are and just putting them out on the field. And y'all got to go beat the guards and the sheriffs. So we see this game. We've already seen this. We've already seen this in cinema. We've just pressed it into a prisoner industrialized system, like which is terrible. I would rather have this story in the same mode. I need one of these. I'm just keeping it a buck because this is real.
Great movie.
I need The Rock in that movie. Polynesian ass. He loves playing a bunch of different races.
Right.
But, the victory was poetic. You know what I'm saying? Eisenhower later said he could do anything better than any other football player I ever saw when he was talking about Thorpe. They said Thorpe went off that game. They said he was in the zone. They said field goals was like 4 points back then or something. But they said he could do it all. So, it wasn't just a sports upset. It was like reversal of history. And of course, 1914, the federal government and reformers began questioning whether Carlisle was truly educating students or exploiting them for publicity. Pop Warner left, went to the University of Pittsburgh. History takes fold there. And Thorpe moves on to pro sports. 1918, the U.S. government closed Carlisle Indian Industrial School. Today it's known as U.S. Army War College. There was a lot of damage done. Thousands of children have been separated from their homes. There was even cemetery there. In the 80 Native American children, where their tribes came in, and they're still, maybe even to this day, are still trying to get some of them back to proper burial, techniques that they use in their culture. So, and the U.S. government has worked with them on that. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful story and it's an ugly history. Symbolic wins, that's. No, did we win? Did we lose the war though? But did we win some battles though? But did we change the game? But if I leave, the game's still gonna love me, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
now that's an updated picture. U.S. Army War College.
Yeah. And don't get me
the
wrong.
First picture I showed you.
Shout out to everybody who be serving, putting on.
Right. I ain't going into that.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying the first picture I showed you, all Native Americans. That whole in front of that school, that one predominantly white. I'm just like,
quick side
crazy.
note. something I talk to white people about sometimes is, and they talk to me about, maybe weird conversation, but it's something that's a conversation that may be brought back to like the attack on HBCUs and shit like that. They wonder if when racist things are brought down, if that's good or bad. Like, are we going to forget? What happens when we forget? Like, it's not, don't get me wrong, don't praise a racist. But if everyone looks at a piece of artwork and it's like, all right, that's a racist for me. All right, that's a fighter of whatever for me. It's kind of like, okay. But what happens when that history is erased? Will the same things happen again? You know, like would that be an allowance of someone to be like, I didn't know that ever happened and I can repeat history now because the people don't know? Is that the same thing that occurred in this instance where it's like, well, they tore it down because they were abusing kids and they were doing that? I agree. But what happened with the history though? And like I said, shout out to our military, but did it get whitewashed? Like, instead of, okay, they didn't get assimilated, but did the history get whitewashed? Did the makers of the modern game never get a penny for it? And on top of that, never even get an inch in history?
They should be making money today, their
Right.
descendants.
Because the way that you can patent shit in so many ways through the American, system, why it feels in that mode. You know what I'm saying? Something stolen from a people who had already been stolen from enough. We're going into Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving me all your land. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I be feeling sometimes, where I'm like, I don't like mints and shit, but like, you think when Thanksgiving comes around, I'm like, I think like, this is such a beautiful time for me and my family, most of who are Black or Indigenous. But it's just like, it's a time for us. I'm thankful for us. I'm thankful for, when I look at the story, I don't side with this whole beautiful thing of this communion that went on, because that's not what's true. I'm just happy to still be alive and what I got and with the people I got it, because that was the result of what happened after that. So I just wonder how people like identify with the story. Like, what part do you identify with? Like, because that might determine you. I don't know. It's a complicated, it goes back to that double sword, that that can we have pain without, you know what I'm saying? Can we have peace without pain, or just whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Like, one has to have build up to the other. But all in all, that's the way it went.
Damn.
We went all the way from people getting killed in the late 1800s to, the creation of the modern game and where that led to.
I'm sitting here watching the NFL right now to the side of me.
And you're watching all that shit, pulling guards, you're watching motions, you're watching the no more 8-man wedges and people getting killed. And when you're watching probably the Bills and the Chiefs, and when we're talking about somebody dying on the football field, you think of DeMar Hamlin now. And think about how big of a deal that was, that almost happened. And 20 people were dying a year who were just playing it for fun.
And the Chiefs logo.
And the Buffalo Bill.
This is crazy. It's happening right now.
The Buffaloes and the Chiefs.
That's really insane to really think about. Like, for real, like, they should be making buku money. They should be at the top of it.
It should be their game, right? Much as, I don't know if this is true, but either Black people or Indigenous people created hockey too as well. Or we're some of the first pioneers of it. Because when we talk about the creation of it, like, we're not talking about it like because they created it, they owned it, but like more so of just like, if we modernized it to that degree, or just like have such an input on the final outcome, then maybe there's a percentage that needs to be outputted because of our input. You know what I'm saying?
See, this is my problem with it, because what you're saying is right. It's like, so like you said, no, they didn't sit down and make a committee and be like, this is the game. Like, no, they were a ragtag bunch, and they did what they did. They innovated the game, moved it forward, and then eventually someone comes along and they're like, hey, we want to make this into a money-making product. And so then they make this almost club that those innovators can't even get in. So I don't want to hear that argument of, well, they should have blocked. They can't even do the first step to do that. So how would they ever,
that wouldn't have been possible, because the government was waging war on them as a people.
That's what I'm saying. They literally couldn't do that. Then 100 years later, 150 years later, that's I'm just assuming, like, we're talking about this right now, so it's not like we've gotten pushback, but I'm just assuming like that would be one of the arguments. Well, why whoever did it first and got the business, like they didn't even have a chance to do that. That'd be my
But
problem with like modern
wasn't
stuff.
but wasn't that the same thing with black inventors when you're talking about we use a whole bunch of inventions from black inventors, and then we talk about, well, war was being waged on the black population on and off all the way since this country's inception. So it's like, how can there be, like we're talking about, reconciliation might be the word of the day, this loops of reconciliation, you know what I'm saying? Like abuse over again and then peace, and then that's an abusive relationship, man. And are we in that with America, black culture? Are we in an abusive relationship where they give us money and they smack us around and steal our words and tell us what we think and how we wrong and this and that, but then they pay us off a little bit? And be like, but you my boo though, like I need you. I can't, you feel me? I can't do this shit without you.
No, come home with some roses and, you know, some your favorite candy, whatever you do to kiss on you and
a Tyler Perry film, and I was playing.
Damn.
A Jordan Peele film. All right, so the only thing I was gonna say on this front is I asked AI, I was like, how is the fall of the Roman Empire? I asked it, how is the fall of the Roman Empire like today? And they basically said, well, as the crisis in Rome worsened, the public spectacles got grander and grander. Bread and circuses, and professional sports does the same, because it's the same people who have the power, who run these leagues, who have a lot of power in feeding us and create and owning these corporations who do things for us. They put on these games and stuff for us, which they own on Saturdays and Sundays. But during the week, they're the ones causing this growing inequality. They're the ones responsible for it. They're the ones at the helm of it, even if they're not responsible for it, right? So that's how they would be the leaders in the skyboxes. That's why they call them skyboxes, because they look at themselves as gods. You know what I'm saying? Like Zeus and Hercules, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something like that. I guess that's the relation to the Roman Empire. And, you know, in sports, I think football is the one that does have stadiums. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. Yeah, so they all do. But football is more of the Coliseum base, so you could probably visualize it easier because they look like them more. But in moments of political division, economic instability, and social unrest, sports does what? It offers a shared narrative, a ritualized and tribal experience that brings us together, but really does it? Maybe for 3 hours we cheer for the same thing, but are we brought together after that? We're not.
Absolutely not.
So what is it ultimately then? A distraction. Because we're brought together under false pretenses and nothing gets done. So you see how they bring us together under their pretense and nothing gets done.
It's a distraction.
So it has to be a distraction. So number 2, the performer and the price, glory of exploitation and sacrifice. Gladiators, most were enslaved prisoners of war or condemned criminals. Their fame was purchased through suffering. And even when they became superstars achieving wealth and adoration, even then, they were still property of their what? The ionista. What does ionista translate into? Their manager of a man. I'm a man. That's what I do. That's what my commodity is. Men. So we look at these terms and we're like, when Colin Kaepernick talks about how it's modern day slavery, and people are like, that's way too far fetched. And then there's people who like, words are magic. Athletes today choose their profession, but the system still commodifies them. So back in the day, they did it for distraction. Today, they use it to commodify. They own the shit, right? The owners own the shit. Who sells the shit? And back in the day, it was used to like pacify. Today it's used to strip us and monetize their worth and take our money through that channel. So when they get you on the Sunday ticket, and then you buy the Nikes because your boy's wearing them, and then you buy the Adidas because of this, and then your favorite team's Cardinals, so you got to buy Adidas, but then you really like Nike, but then, you feel me? The Roman Empire, they were funded by emperors and elites seeking popularity and legitimacy, which is something that we see today. Is it reinforces the ruler's image of generosity and control. So it's like, we really do got control over this shit. And I'm a nice person. You see what I'm doing. You see when you come into my stadium, you see how nice it is. Like a stadium's almost a distraction in itself. Like getting you to come in and be like, this is so nice, but then they taxing you more and more. But it's like, it's so nice, it's this and that. That itself, you know what I'm saying? So that's just like the Coliseum. Still, I went across the world to see the Coliseum. You know what I'm saying? So we still see it today. Imagine if people 400 years from now, 1,000 years from now, is still going to see Jury World. Jury World is like the Coliseum. People literally go there just to see it. Like it's literally a town in a way. So, but athletes' fames, they translate into profit for larger systems that depend on constant engagement and emotional investment. So so even like a like, they've commodified their athletes into likes for social media. So like, y'all get where I'm going with that.
Right.
Y'all get where I'm going with that. So like Jalen Hurts on Abbott Elementary, doing this and doing that, and they just it becomes a whole thing. They become a whole folklore hero, kind of like Roman gladiators, but it's by their, sacrifice and suffrage. And I just heard somebody say, man, I bet the coach, I bet he just talks football nonstop, even at the dinner table and this and that. Like they're trying to sell you on him being so sacrificial with everything, that football being his life, that's why you should cheer for him. That's the same way that they will come on and MC a gladiator event. This is blah, blah, blah from blah, 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 and this is that. And they try to sell you on something instead of just letting it be. You know what I'm saying? This is all a big show, like the media itself. But like, the narratives, the underdog, the comeback. Isn't that one of the comeback player of the year? These are all the champion. These are all like literal narrative archetypes that were used during that time. Nothing's changed. So when Rome declined, the spectacles grew larger and more desperate, even as civic virtue and infrastructure decayed. So even as the money started flowing out, they grew even larger and more desperate. What would that look like? In our eyes, they may look like NFL going and playing as many places as they can because America's on the decline and they know it and they can't eke out any more money here.
Basically describing America right now, but you said the NFL
would be reaching out.
Like,
yeah, what would that look like?
Going overseas to play, blah, blah, blah.
What's more desperate? Oh, college football, shrinking the conferences, making it every week it's the SEC's playing somebody ranked. So every time, Big Ten, somebody ranked, making it more even compact where it feels like every time one of those teams play, like now Texas is back in the top 10 after they almost just lost to Kentucky, who when Auburn loses to them, they fire their head coach. So you can't hide how shitty some of these teams in your conference are, even though it's the greatest conference to ever been assembled, according to your own words. Then and they do this amid, widening inequality, environmental strain, food, and political dysfunction. That's the comparison isn't perfect, but it's, provocative.
I'm letting you go, but you're literally sitting here describing the state of America right now. Like shit that we talk about weekly on here, daily to each other, is happening, but yet social media is huge and makes everything just feel and look big, and the game is overseas and
Right.
all this stuff, all this big money. But like you're describing what happened in Rome, like that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that's why I feel like makes us dope as a pod. And unlike the gladiators, most modern athletes own their image, labor, and voice. At least in theory, they can use their platforms for social change, right?
Right.
Such as Muhammad Ali, right? Until you get taxed by who? The rulers, the emperors. They come and they take that gold medal away from you because who owns the games?
Damn.
Colin Kaepernick. So we are free, in theory. We're not like Roman gladiators, in theory. That's what him was trying to show in a way, the blood sacrificial ritual that is. And what are you thinking? Because I can get back to mine.
No, like, it's like talking about we are free. In theory, it's like we're giving
Aaron Rodgers. We don't got to do black people. Kyrie Irving. Keep going.
Right. But we're giving like 10 answers on a multiple choice. And to a lot of people, that's so much. You know what I mean? We can do whatever we want. But that's because most people don't veer outside of those 10 answers. You start getting minds that think more outside of the box, and they're like, what about this answer? And you're like, nope. So I thought we was free, though. Why can't this be my answer? Like, almost that.
Yep. I thought I was free. I'm not free. I was free as long as I said the prompted answers.
You're literally saying the opposite of freedom. Like, when tech comes in and you're like, wait, you are free to do one of those. Then I'm not. There's going to be consequences for me saying this answer.
Which is what money does, is it trades your time in for a limited power that only stretches so far. And if you wanted to stretch any further, you have to go to war with the powers who give you the same money, because they're the ones who, you know what I'm saying? So it's never changed.
One last
Roman
thing before you
gladiators could never dream of that shit. So if you want to act like that's one way the world's better, I have no comparison for that. Roman gladiators couldn't do that shit. So we're not slaves. We're just not free.
But it's like almost the game GTA, San Andreas, CJ, trying to go, and this sounds crazy, trying to go to war with the game developer, the nigga that literally picks, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, and then the game developer's like, nah, just take his car away from him. Just take his gun away from him. Just take his, send the feds for him. I know where he's at. You can't run away from me.
It's like he literally can't, right? It sounds ridiculous, right? Okay, like you can't.
That's
you can't.
That's a great example. CJ running away from Rockstar.
Niggas like, what you even talking about?
I didn't,
Like, right.
and don't get me wrong, I didn't create you. The world you live in, I control it. I control every part of it. That's matrixy. That's definitely matrixy. As you go, you started, that is, you blended two ideas. Ooh. Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. And the last thing I have on that, and it'll go into something else. I'm sorry, real quick. I don't know if this is an actual quote. Every scroll is a cheer. Every click, a thumb from Caesar. Every scroll is a cheer. Every click, a thumb from Caesar. So the thumb's from Caesar, and you scrolling is a scroll made by the Romans, printed on their paper. They own the social media. They own the paper. They own the authors. They own the scrolls. They own the. That's tough. Shout out AI for that one. People say AI. Nah, it's AI. In the parallel to Rome, this is the last one that's going to lead into two different things for me. In late Rome, the crowd's approval decided a gladiator's fate. You know what I'm saying? We know that. Today, this is why I said every scroll is a cheer, every click a thumb from Caesar. Algorithms and public opinion decide in athletes. Shit. Athletes' private lives are consumed and judged as moral theater, which is what we talked about with quarterbacks and him and the standard. Every controversy becomes a modern thumbs up or thumbs down, which is commodified into likes. You see what I'm talking about? You see why I can't, I'm sorry, but if I got a product I'm trying to sell to white people, I can't put a nigga on that.
Right.
I can, but it has to be Michael Jordan, Jalen Hurts. Like,
Back
white people got bald heads too. They don't got cornrows.
Back to the 10 answers. You can only be one of these 10 answers.
Yep.
You're free though.
Yep.
You can do it. You can pick anybody you want, but it gotta be one of these 10 answers.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if Michael Jordan looked like, before he went bald, if they were like, it just looks a little too, the high top fade. And they're like, ooh, bald, I can sell bald, shaved head. You know what I'm saying? Just like, not, you know, I just don't know. It's just, I'm just giving it a buck. This is what advertisers and things think of. Like, it's not
Right.
no. This is what it is. So media empires like ESPN, Fox, and social platforms act as new amphitheaters. Monetized outrage, allegiance, and drama. The crowd roar, it never ends. It's just digital now. And that's how you commodify that into likes. Because you need an amphitheater, a reaction board for the masses. So then, you know, you talk about the goddess Nike, things like that. We'll probably get into that on a different, more of the spiritual shit on a different tone. But let's talk about Helios's granddaughter, Medea, Medea. Yeah, one letter off from media and one letter off from Medea, which etymology, neither of them derive from any of each other. They're just all a letter off. Media, it means middle, intermediary, which from the truth, from the person spitting it to the person receiver, who's the person in the middle controlling the message? Media. Then you got Medea, Tyler Perry, which is Madur, you know, kind of plays off of our tongue. And then you got Medea, who is Helios's granddaughter, a sorceress who is into witchcraft and like plays, finesse the Golden Fleece from the Golden Fleece story. Like, she finessed that shit, outsmarted them. And historically, women who outsmart men are called witches. We just translated that into, because we don't like, because a woman's a bitch when she does something that's too much for a man to control. Just keep it. Now, that's that's true.
Right.
So, but that made me think, like, are all those the same? Because Medea in the story, she mediates between worlds, mortal and divine, Greek and barbarian, love and vengeance, you know, transformative, dangerous. She's finessing. She operates in illusions and persuasion and fear and awe. She's the middle space. So maybe the words don't translate, but can that not describe the...
I don't play dumb. I don't play dumb.
That's what I'm saying. You can tell me the words don't even exist, but if they're one letter off and you can interchange the archetype of the character in which they embody, whether it's a system or a person, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, but it's a schmuck.
Right. Like, come on. I mean,
what the
that's
schmuck?
why the English language is what it is. Like, just stuff like that, where it's, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of different things combined together. So sometimes I feel like the etymology might have got lost, but it's still in this weird matrix simulation place. It still finds a way to like equal out. It's weird, bro.
I got a quote. I told it to make me a quote. In every headline that bewitches, in every viral image that burns truth to ash, the spirit of media, flickers. Not the woman herself, but her art, the craft of transformation. So then the last two things I'll go into. So I'm like, Medea, cunning woman, wise. She be wildin', but is there a relation to that too? She be like running games. She be like, you know what I'm saying? But all in all, you can get to like in a man's world, like them two are women. Like I said, you can go back to that, like women who are witches when a man can't control them. As just the old school way of what the word was really used in. I can't control it. She won't listen to me because she thinks that the Bible says everybody should go to heaven. And that's not what we say it is, but she ain't listening to us. She's a witch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, put her in a mental hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even being funny. This is real history.
Literally.
And take her land away and take her father's land away and give it to me. That's what they did. I'm not even trying to be funny. Isn't that disgusting? We be talking about some real shit and it's like, we be trying to, but like, this is disgusting. So, but you know, Medea, her archetype, the sorceress, she's always in a tragic, mythic form. She's punished for transgressing the male order. I would think Medea is more of a comedic, redemptive form, maybe the other side of that, where she's celebrated actually for defying the male order. Because what does she do? That's why we laugh at Tyler Perry. You get a bunch of silly ass men acting stupid of her over sexualized, well-groomed, overly groomed men, overly groomed macho men. Like, why are you overly groomed and overly macho? Can be both. And then you're beating up on this girl or being the worst version of yourself while my auntie comes in and saves the day talking about don't let no man treat you like it.
Also played by a man.
Also, okay, that's the part that kills me. I can't get into the androgynous beings yet. That's a different story. Androgynous is male and female together. Apparently, they have a higher spiritual attainability, higher ceiling. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're not going to get into that today.
Right.
That's not what we talking about. But yeah, we're going to see that for another day.
They get their own section.
Get their own little shit. And then I asked it, I was like, kind of break this down for me. It kind of spat back what I was trying to say, but it was saying like Medea is what happens when media is finally allowed to grow old, own her house, tell everyone what she thinks without having to spill any blood doing so. That's why I said it's like this transformative like character on the back end. It makes me think of it a little differently where I'm like, and Tyler Perry's getting sued out of his ass right now. So
got them Apple type lawsuits.
Nah, for real. Not. How much does that studio cost to own?
Right.
Okay. That's how much my lawsuit is. God damn it. And then media. I mean, I'm gonna tie it back to two things. Paul Feinbaum saying that he's on the run. He wants to run for Senate after the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, which I find this is what I'll say. Break it down short. Had a very equal political perspective when it comes to on-air talent. They seem to let them go crazy when a certain person was in office and now a certain other person is in office when their contract extensions all came up, seemed to be all lowballed from Dan Le Batard to Ryan Clark to Kerry Champion to we can go on to Jamel Hill and some people not even getting the option to come back to work actually. Max Kellerman, people who identify politically in a different hemisphere. Okay, so then those people all ironically get lowballed. Whether they're good or not, that's all what they had in common. And then all the people who get reinvested in on their contracts and huge deals are people who identify with the political perspective that seems to be benefiting them monetarily, which is why I'm saying, like, I'm not necessarily saying, like, even if they're political either way, they could be a whole bunch of conservatives, but a whole bunch of conservatives don't care about their money. So is what it is. My thing is, you were apolitical back then. no, we're not political. We don't speak on politics. Or if we do, it's I got to clean it up and do this or do that. Now you're just letting people just be like, I'm running for Senate. Like, you literally have people like that. Stephen A. Smith doing the same thing. Both of them conservative. We know that. We don't have to play games. Excuse me. And that's hypocritical compared to your old standards. So why is one good for the goose and one good for the gander when the goose is a liberal and the gander is a conservative? And we don't really care, but the point is that you are from the same. Your supporters said that they, from the side being promoted, said that they didn't want politics in their sports. Now they're synonymous when it's their politics. When it wasn't their politics, it was an issue. Colin Kaepernick and all these things, but now it's their politics. It's a good thing. They can stomach it. You know what I'm saying? I would say that it's crazy that you change the rules midway through the game and then act like you winning. You can't play a player.
You the motherfucker. We
That's
playing
media.
hide and go seek, and I catch you. You like, I'm not playing. I'm not even playing. So then I walk away from you, and then when I walk away, you run to the base. I got on base. I beat you. I thought you wasn't playing.
You touched my shirt. You didn't touch me. You touched my shirt.
All that. I thought you wasn't playing. Now you're playing the game.
I'm playing. And actually, I won. I'll trick you.
Right.
You're just like, I want to punch you in your fucking mouth.
I tricked you.
I tricked you? I tricked you?
Like, now you lied as well.
You lied straight to my face. I should choke you out.
Right.
I'm going to choke you out, nigga. The fuck? You think this is funny?
Game.
Yeah, I'll show you something funny then.
Right. I know. Let's laugh.
Let's laugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm like.
That's the game they playing. Like, all of a sudden, like, it's good to mix politics with sports? Okay. This is the type of person I am. All right, I'll even let you have it. I know all the bullshit, but I'll let you have it right now. But when that shit reverses, them motherfucking rules better stay the goddamn same, because I know it's going to reverse.
Of course.
I'm a patient man. I know it's going to come back on my favor.
But that goes back to the Coliseum, though, in the media, because the Coliseum is like, the media is going to tell, he went in there with a tiger, and he slayed a tiger, and it was just him. He killed a man and a tiger. It was on both sides. And it's like, no, the tiger was on a chain. You really couldn't see it from that far. My man was given a weak-ass weapon, and my man had this big-ass sword. You know what I'm saying? And then you created him into the story, but it's not, he ain't really shit. And that's the story of literally Gladiator, Marcus Aurelius. I don't talk bad about Marcus's, but that nigga's a piece of shit.
The creator of Stoicism.
Stoicism? Yeah. I'm stoic as fuck.
Creator.
I'm stoic. I'm stoic as fuck when I'm not doing shit that I'm passionate about. How about that? Oh, shit. But no, and then on the Stephen A. tip, I really don't have anything to say on Paul Feinbaum as par for the course. SEC talking head. I'm going to take Tommy Tuberville's spot. Alabama's so, like, conservative. Like, Tommy Tuberville never even coached for Alabama. He coached for Auburn. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Rick would, who would it be? Who would be a good one? Who would be a good example? Getting every UK fan's vote. Brian Brom. It's like, we disagree with you on every front, nigga. But if we talking conservatism.
Hey, you got my vote.
Rally up the troops.
Crazy.
So on the Stephen A. Smith front, I'm just going to say, predictions. FD helped me come to some of these realizations, so I'm not going to steal all his shit. But he's saying he plans on running for office in some degree, but he's not going to use his own money to do it. He's going to use other people's money. So I'm sure he'll get on Joe Rogan. They said he's probably going to do a Joe Rogan show by the end of the year, so expect that. Or something in that white, moderate, Republican atmosphere, but nothing can hit like Joe Rogan. It just can't. Right. So Joe Rogan, he's been questioning vaccines lately. I don't know what's gotten into him. Going after Jasmine Crockett, who, as much as she is displayed as Marjorie Taylor Greene's opposite and like this black woman who's confrontational, like, I do like her politically. Like, she'll take money from an organization and won't vote just for them. I actually like her. Oh, but Stephen A. coming after her, like, literally for no reason and just shitting on her. And the only person I will give an exception to who did get lowballed and deserved it or didn't get it back was Jason Whitlock. I mean, Jason Whitlock's the only other one who doesn't fit that mold. He's just a piece of shit. But speaking of that, You black bastard. You black bastard. LeBron, you're a terrible father. It rolls off the tongue when it's a nigga and you critiquing him. But when Serena Williams' husband comes up there and checks you, you lay down like a dog. That's why I said you dogmatic. When the white man walks in the building, you know that. When you say things like, I work endlessly to find ways for my bosses to make money, then what are you going to do when you're a politician? You're going to be a controlled dog. So he's never done anything outside of ESPN, and neither has Paul Feinbaum. There's a lot of people will argue. We can argue Trump don't deserve to be president. At least he ran businesses and did shit like that. We can argue that he did terribly. He still did it. What the fuck does Stephen A. do outside of ESPN? He's desperate for them. He got fired and had to come back to them at a lowballed rate and work his way all the way back up again. Lowball rate compared to his standards. I ain't gonna act like he. Yeah. So, and then him working at Disney, you know, Walt Disney has this weird thing where he loves to shit on the Guardians and parents and all his characters' lives. I'm like, when you talk about black men like that, I don't know if you're projecting your relationship with your father. Like, if it's easier for a black man who has an estranged relationship with his father to talk shit about other black men.
I can see that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, is this some psychological, like, you know, he's about to be the next Herman Cain, the next Ben Carson, the next black vote splitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, gosh. And the worst part is Herman Cain pretty sure had an affair with a chick in a church here in Louisville, and then Janine gave Ben Carson a tour of her apartments when she was at U of L. So Louisville ties to both of them black guys who I'm not going to call words because then I feel like it gives our white counterparts an allowance.
Right, type shit.
I got to protect y'all in some way. Otherwise, white people are just going to be calling these black people coons, and now I let woke and coons go.
But we got it from you.
Gosh. It's like Tom Brady has a new commercial where it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, who says that? Only black people say that, right? And don't be wrong, white people say, I'm not saying that. But black people say that, like, you can't just say that in a white space as a black person. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Over and over, like it becomes.
No,
like,
I don't. I've seen the reaction video. I
like,
don't know what they're saying.
They're saying, and he's powerful from the standpoint of he kind of is a black Joe Rogan, the white man whisperer. He has the barbershop blacks. He has the moderate and right wing whites. He has a handful of liberal whites. That's what the whole. You know what I'm saying? So he does have a group of people through his, but then my question becomes to you, is TV and media becoming this platform that you have to check off in order to become a person that we see who's responsible for power in our society, right? You never had to do anything. All you did was talk shit for 20 years on TV and ingratiated yourself with who you could ingratiate yourself with. And because of that, we trust you enough. Like, is that becoming a bad thing? Like, is that it? Like, because Donald Trump did that, correct? And he was the one who busted glass ceilings so he was a TV star. So is the people coming behind him gonna be thus TV stars?
Yes.
Like, is that the medium?
Yes.
And that's why I talk, and that's why I get all the way here from media. Like, how did I get all the way here? That's how I got there. Okay, so keep going.
I mean, even look at I'm gonna say this, I could be wrong, but like a Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't hear about, I don't care what he was saying. I didn't hear about him until social media picked him up and just started carrying that around. And then I feel like it gave him more power. And that's just like one for like right now off the top of my head. But no, to answer your question.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think so, because everything is going that route in every aspect of our life. Like, I think this is funny. Like, people will be like, your homie just dropped a mixtape and you didn't say or do nothing, but you wishing young boy a happy birthday on social media or just stuff like that, where I know you're like, what are you talking about? But like, social media is everything. And I include that now with real media because it's just as big now. So like, yes, everything is about get on some platform and make yourself bigger. And then that's how you get to us as a society now. Like, it's just like going through the media, which is social media and any other shows and stuff. But yes, to answer your question simply.
So that's how media gets all the way to that. And that's a long thought out process, but
I mean, and like you said, with Trump opened the door. So yeah, more people are gonna come running through that same door. They're like, oh, that's the blueprint. It's the new blueprint now.
And I argue that, like, since modern advertising and things like that, like, you have to understand two things that you can't really stop from going in, like, are your eyes. So you can't stop things from going in here. So they try to control everything on the outside because then they can control what goes in, and then they can control you, theoretically. And then your ears, too. So that's why the quiet time is so important in hearing yourself think and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty deep today. We're pretty deep today. Shout out to my mound builders, as Duke Deuce says. Big and lazy. Shout out to Big and Lazy, though. Shout out to shit. He might be our media, our intermediary, our medium that got us into this. So shout out to Big and Lazy, man, for real. I don't know. There's still something about him that's just like, he's like a Louisville staple. Like, he's starting to become like a Louisville staple. Like, real deal. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just hard work and never stopping and one foot in front of the other. Just seeing how far the journey takes you and, you know, just shit like that. So shout out Big and Lazy, bigandlazy.com. Go get you some merch. Go get you anything. It's getting cold outside. Get you some sweatshirts. I love these fucking Crocs I got on. So,
Big steppers.
Big steppers. Confirmed podcast, baby. So I don't really got too much else for real. It's just, I mean, we can talk about weapons maybe next time. Might do a movie review, but if you want to mess with us, do some homework on MK Ultra. Just look it up yourself. Just see MK and then Ultra, and you know, we're not here to argue the efficiency of the actual experiments that they put on, but that they are actually true and they did have an effect, and the government admitted to them being true.
Not conspiracy. We might really need to get car ride. That might be like a good meat of the episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then kind of venture off into how they got started and they top movies, and then do some top fives, which we haven't done for a few weeks here. So
and the last thing
good start. Start back into it. But that
would be a good one. I might start season 2 for us. We done 40 episodes since season 1.
Crazy.
We have more than 40, probably have 50. We just put out 40. The only thing I was gonna say is MK Ultra with that. The reason I wanted to bring up how demonstrative and messed up, because this probably will lead into maybe something I'll try to bring up next time. Why football was made so demonstratively, like it was so just people were dying and there was like, I don't know, because it was real war, emulate war. And we have to talk about, like, as athletes know this, like when you really get pushed hard by a coach or things like that, the way that they talk to you or the way they build you up or break you down can really be the difference in how you end up learning how to enjoy and play the game. So when someone almost like beats you into being great, it creates an alternative personality. And when you do that, like you take on a form of possession. So that's why the Native Americans coming in and playing the way they did was almost like spiritual, like finesse, and just, like I said, the invention of the spiral and how beautiful that bitch was. You know what I'm saying? And just the way it cut through the air. Like, it was more than just, it transcended and made it into something that just wasn't gore and blood. It was something. But think about the schools that we're talking about they were playing against. Think about their history, their resources, who they were started by, some of the famous groups that are affiliated with them, Skulls and Bones. And think about the people who played in these things and went through these practices, and people like Eisenhower and where they ended up. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, these, you claim Skulls and Bones, you know, deep conspiratorial, Skulls and Bones creates these, you know, controllable people, Manchurian candidate almost. Well, isn't MK Ultra and creating an alternative personality in someone through sports almost Manchurian candidate-ish? Isn't that the same thing? Like, when I blow this listen, y'all watched Weapons. When I ring this bell, all hell breaks loose. When I blow this whistle, kill him. That's what football was. You see what I'm talking about? So it is possession. It is the same thing that you see in these horror movies. It is emulated warfare. And I know, because I can't sit on here and admit to y'all, like, that's the way that when I played at my best, Like, as I felt I was possessed. Like, I remember running backwards, like getting twisted around and running backwards against Fort Thomas Highlands, and someone hitting me dead in the back of my head, and like me like not being able to see for a little bit, like, you know, just little stars, nothing crazy. Like when you wipe your eyes, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm just kind of like, and I'm like, I don't know, like I can't see, but I'm getting up and I'm like, y'all can't fuck with me. I can't see. I can't, you feel me? Who's doing, like, that's my response. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, I'm in the zone. Like, and I knew at that point, and I'll argue that, yeah, there's positive ways to do so. That's what I feel like people call the zone. When you're in it and you're effortless, or when you're mind controlled and you're trying to kill. That's why I feel like football may have been more of an experiment. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to its counterparts, where it's like, this could really be some militarized, experimental, blood gore kind of psychological boot camp to see if you fit the kind of men we're trying to bring along on what we're trying to do. Because a Manchurian Candidate's nothing but that. It's the same premise. Manchurian Candidate wasn't Denzel. It was started with
I don't know his name. I know his face.
No, you know who I'm talking about. Not Elvis Presley. What's my other dude? The Rat Pack, New York. Sinatra. He was the first person to star in it. So if you feel me, that's why I'm like, the road always ends in some weird. That goes the media for you. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But it's just that's where I might want to leave off of when it comes to Goddess to Nike of Victory. Nike having a commercial where the best players in the world are in a spiritual war playing for the last, for a goal, you know, for their lives. The Popo Vu, it's all the same. It's all this. So these games like the haka and Hawaiian football and things like that, these were spiritual games we played for the gods, whether it was the Popo Vu, playing basketball on grass with rubber trees in South America, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever it is, this was the spiritual games that we put on for our gods. This is in African culture, this is in indigenous culture, this is what we did, you know what I'm saying? So when we do these things, we are doing it spiritual, we're not doing it possessively. So I can even argue that there's a spiritual warfare even within the game itself. You want to win, but you also want to find you a coach that can seed your kids with the right way to learn. Thank God. That's why we say thank God for Coach Brown, Coach Gibbs, and you know, and some of them, like I said, wasn't perfect. They did a hell of a job. Shout out Coach Jackson, in this case you watching, because he was a good coach.
He was.
Just like demeanor and just overall. Like the older I got, the more I could look back and be like, nah, he was a good, just trenches all around, you know, get grimy, motherfucker. But also, like, I've had coaches that are unrefined in that area too. Kill him. Nah, Marcus, you're gonna sit here and you just gonna, you feel me, heads up until you get it. That's punishment. Heads up is punishment for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all didn't treat us that way. Y'all taught us the game fundamentals, what was most important. Not kamikazing, but making the game-winning plays and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like being a parent. I'm starting to learn that as a parent. Like, that inner voice that you go to is what your parents programmed into you. So are you going to be that voice where it's like, nah, this and that, blah, blah, you always going to be negative all the time? Or you going to, and that's hard. That's really hard as a parent because you got to discipline and you got to get on them and teach them that the world ain't like this out here. But at the same time, how do you do it in a way that is not seeding distrust in the world and hate in the world? Things like that. Because I don't feel like a lot of people do that well, which is why a lot of kids, unfortunately, have this same thing. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever. So y'all get the roundabout shit. We go roundabout long enough, we talk shit. But that's all for the next discussion, probably.
That was some deep shit.
I didn't even mean to get that. I know, wouldn't even be mean to get it. It was just, you want to talk about this crazy history.
It just goes. But I knew it. That's why I said let's end on that, because I knew that. Shout out to Carlisle.
Shout out to Carlisle. Shout out to FD. Shout out to the movie Him. Shout out to Marlon Wayne. Shout out to, that's all they needed to do was put in like 6 lines about history for me throughout the whole movie for me to do a deep dive, because that's all you really need. But shout out to them for putting it in there. Shout out to, we all one tribe, Black, Indigenous. A lot of us are Black and Indigenous, especially in the South, especially.
Yep. A lot of people tell me I am. I'm just like, all I know is Black. I never traced my lineage back, so yeah, I'm not sure.
So good discussion. Anything else before we hop off this bitch?
No, I got all my shit off. We good.
All right. We'll be back again. ODD, POD. You know,
We'll be back.
Peace.